Today is a day for the 3 R's in the Big East. Respect, rebuild, and repeat. First, Temple head coach Ron Dickerson and his Rapid Owls rush to regain respect against rugged Penn State, where there'll be no reminiscing with his former mentor, the highly regarded Joe Paterno, as they rumble into East Rutherford. Elsewhere, Rutgers rolls down Route 81 to raid Blacksburg as they rebuild their program against the raucous rush of 18th-ranked Virginia Tech, as the Hokies ramble on as reigning Big East rulers looking to repeat. It's Big East Conference football, and for many of you this afternoon, our game of the week is a Big East matchup between Rutgers and Virginia Tech, the Hokies and the Scarlet Knights. And for the rest of you, it's a matchup for the Big Ten and the Big East, as the Nittany Lions tangle with the Owls of Temple at Giant Stadium in East Rutherford. We'll have both games. I'm John Sanders. Welcome to Big East football on this Saturday afternoon. I'll be here throughout the afternoon in the studio, keeping you posted on the game you're not seeing, as well as college football scores and highlights from around the country all afternoon long. In addition to that matchup in Giant Stadium, there are 4 other meetings this afternoon that match the Big East and the Big Ten, and one of them we will keep a very close eye on. That's the game that's being played in Columbus at the Horseshoe. The Panthers of Pitt against Ohio State. They are led by Billy West, trying to get it going. Meanwhile, the Eagles of Boston College, behind their quarterback Matt Hasselbeck, hopes to do a little Joe Montana-style celebrating against Michigan. And West Virginia takes its undefeated record against the Boilermakers of Purdue, and head coach Don Nehlen knows it's going to be a very tough outing for his Mountaineers on the road.
I believe that Purdue will give us a multitude of problems because it's their home opener. They're kind of backed up a little bit. It's going to be a very difficult game. We're going to have to play extremely well to win.
And later tonight, the Orangemen of Syracuse hope to rebound as they take on Minnesota. It's a chance for some revenge after a season-opening loss for Donovan McNabb and his favorite target, Malcolm Thomas. The Orangemen will try to get it rolling and get going this afternoon, as Miami and West Virginia have already. You check out the standings. They are undefeated. So is Virginia Tech. And the Hokies have won 12 in a row, going for number 13 this afternoon. That's the schedule. Those are the standings, and the games are about to begin. We will get you out for kickoff at Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia in just a moment. The rest of you go to East Rutherford for Penn State and Temple following this.
Detective Jack Cole has always worked alone until now.
This guy's weird.
I can't fight. This is not the time I want to hear that. Hey, minute there. I forgot you told me you can't fight. It's against my religion. I'm a Buddhist. Once I should cry because, like, it cleanses us. So if I need a cleansing, I have a bran muffin.
Steven Seagal, Keenan Ivory Wayans.
He's a little country. I'm a little rock and roll.
The Glimmer Man, rated R. Starts Friday, October 4th at a theater near you.
Still playing a game of chance every time your phone rings? Guessing if it's someone you want to speak to right now or get back to later? Here's how to start every call ahead of the game. Sign up for Bell Atlantic Caller ID with name and get this Caller ID display unit absolutely free. It tells you the numbers and names of your callers after just one ring. So call now and stop spinning your wheels. Get your free Caller ID display unit.
Bell Atlantic, the heart of communication.
From the people who brought you one clever idea after another comes the Plymouth Clever Clearance. It's the end of the model year, and right now you can get 0 down and 90 days deferred payments on all Plymouth minivans, or our lowest APRs on Plymouth Neon. Or you can breeze into a brand new Plymouth Breeze with this great low price. The Plymouth Clever Clearance. It's one clever way to save after another.
For the official cars of the Philadelphia Eagles, see your local Chrysler and Plymouth dealers.
And Jeff Bostic, they will call the play-by-play. I'll have more coming up at halftime. Men, take it away.
Thanks very much, John. We're in East Rutherford, New Jersey at Giant Stadium, 90 miles north of Philadelphia, the home of Temple. It will be Temple's home game as they host the 5th-ranked Nittany Lions of Penn State. This is the team that has won 20 in a row over Temple Owls, Penn State. Hi, everybody. Mike Crispino along with Jeff Bostic, the longtime Washington Redskins center. 14 years in the league, 4 Super Bowls. He won 3 of them, although he's only wearing 1 ring. Were you ever this kind of underdog like Temple is this afternoon?
We were huge underdogs when I was at Clemson early. We played Georgia, got blown out 41-0. Our program improved.
Temple's program right now is improving. They have got a stiff task today against Penn State, though, Mike.
We'll find out how much they've improved, certainly in the next hour or two. And their man who hopes to lead them to an upset win, the quarterback, Henry Burris.
David versus Goliath. David has got to have a good game. Henry Burris, Temple's all-time passing leader, must be productive, must take care of the football for this team to be competitive.
And in the great tradition of running backs at Penn State, Kurt Warner, Kajana Carter, they have a new man, Curtis Enos.
He's as good as any of them. A big running back, 6'2", 231. He can be a sledgehammer or he can be a slasher. Southern Cal found that out, bouncing off of people. Big running back, look for him to reap havoc in that Temple defense.
Well, Henry Burris had a big day against Penn State 2 years ago, throwing for over 300 yards. The Owls hope he can repeat that, certainly. We'll be back. The starting lineups in the opening kickoff when we return to East Rutherford.
Steve Young here. You know, Crispy Wheaties and Raisins has plump raisins, sweet flakes, and an incredible crunch.
I love the crunch.
Linebackers.
Come crunch time, there's only one. Crispy Wheaties and Raisins.
The all-new Plymouth Voyager has easy-out roller seats that you can't get on any other minivan. And an exclusive driver-side sliding door. In fact, Voyager not only surpasses every other minivan on the road, but with a 3-liter, 150-horsepower V6 engine, it has 36 times the cargo space of a Porsche 911 for about a third of the price.
Free for small business owners.
Now you can say goodbye to your bookkeeping hassles forever because the makers of Quicken have invented QuickBooks, the #1 selling accounting software that makes it fast and easy to do the things you don't love doing, like paying bills, writing invoices, figuring out what your customers owe, even tracking inventory and doing payroll. QuickBooks makes it all hassle-free. Call now to get a trial version absolutely free through this special limited-time TV offer.
Hey, want to see some cool things?
Where?
At the Smithsonian. Some famous flyers! Some four-wheelers.
Rocket ships.
And lizard lips.
Discover Card is a proud partner of the anniversary celebration.
Today's Big East telecast is brought to you by Crispy Wheaties and Raisins. Try Crispy Wheaties and Raisins, the raisin cereal with a big crunch. Discus Athletic Activewear. Discus Athletic, the one thing to wear for every sport. And by Discover Card, proud partner of the Smithsonian's 150th anniversary. Back at East Rutherford, New Jersey, Penn State won the toss and elected to defer and give Temple the choice, and Temple will receive the opening kickoff as we're getting set to play. And absolutely gorgeous weather, 72 degrees, little or no wind, the sun is out, the humidity at 52%. We are playing on AstroTurf, as you know from seeing Giant Stadium over the years. Temple is the home team, and they will receive as we begin play here. This is the 33rd time these two teams have played. And you can see that Temple last won in 1941.
Long time ago, Mike.
And the kickoff goes out of bounds. Temple will start now from the 35-yard line. Henry Burris at quarterback. That's the way he started, with 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions so far this year, thrown for almost 750 yards. Temple from their own 35. Penalty marker down, and Penn State stops the run after a gain of about 2 yards. Here's a look at our Wheaties starting lineups, brought to you by Crispy Wheaties and Raisins, the raisin cereal with a big crunch. And a look at the wideouts and the backs for
defense lined up in the neutral zone.
Eugene Culbreth, Danny Davis and company. Here's the offensive line.
Scott Oster, a big one, 6'3", 338, played defensive line last year, switching over. Penn State with the infraction in the neutral zone. They've only been flagged 8 times this year, Mike.
First down again. There's Temple. And a gain of about 5 yards. Straight up the middle. And we'll set the Penn State defense for you. The 4-3, Brandon Noble, Chris Snyder, Matt Fornadell, Brandon Short up front. Brandon Noble leading the way, and the strong linebackers, Aaron Collins, Gerald Filardi, Jim Nelson.
That's a strong part of this Penn State defense. Their linebackers are very solid.
Brian Miller, the left cornerback and the star of the secondary. Penn State's got a strong defense this year, and they're off to an unbeaten start. Temple trying to run the ball again, and a gain of about 3 yards by Eugene Colbreth, the 6 foot, 196-pound senior for Temple. Sporting the new logos, by the way, Jeff, on the helmets.
New logos, and it's really a surprise for me for them to come out and try and run the football. Penn State is not a big defensive football team. Only 2 guys on that defense weighing over 250 pounds. And you look at Temple, they're very big up front, Mike.
2 years ago, Burris threw for over 300 yards against Penn State. They held them down last year by keeping the ball themselves and gaining over 600 yards in a matchup of scoring 66 points. Colbreth this time stopped after a gain of about 2 on first down.
This is a good job by Gerald Filardi. He's the leading tackle. An interesting thing about Filardi, he came to Penn State as a walk-on. I mean, you talk about Penn State football, you've got to speak about their linebackers. This is form tackling. Sticks his head in there and drives Eugene Colbreth back.
The Temple offensive line outweighs Penn State by a considerable margin, Jeff Bostic. Will Penn State try to use their speed to make up for that?
That's what they've done all year. Southern Cal, a big offensive football team, unsuccessful trying to beat this quick Penn State. Big hole.
Big hole. Eugene Colbreth for a first down near the 40-yard line of Penn State. A 9-yard gain for Colbreth.
I think I've seen this play before. It looks like a play the Redskins used to play with when I was there. Little trap. Colbreth gets up inside, lowers his shoulder. Good, strong running.
So Temple with a couple of first downs. They started the drive in their own 35 after the opening kickoff. Went out of bounds. Burris, a handoff to Colbreth, and that time he's going nowhere. Brandon Noble, the senior linebacker, with a stop.
20 straight starts. He is their best defensive lineman. Very active inside. Still amazing to me, Henry Burris has not thrown the football yet. They're trying to ram it up Penn State's in between tackles, run the ball inside, and use that big offensive line.
Well, it's interesting. Maybe Ron Dickerson and his staff found something, and looking at film of the first couple weeks against Penn State, they thought they might be able to use their offensive ground game to get something going.
Very impressive early.
2nd and 10 now for Burris. Goes to the handoff again. Colbreth breaks it outside. And cuts inside, and a gain of about 7.
Good job by the left side. Obviously, they're banged up in their offensive line a little bit. You know, Eric Johnson playing left tackle. Damian Grant usually there. Good job by the trapper. Good block by their running back. And the thing you got to like about Colbreth early, he's running north and south, and he's getting that shoulder down. Positive yardage.
A little deception that time by Temple's offensive line got Penn State's defense moving in the wrong direction. So 3rd and 3 from the 33, the 7th play of the drive. A hand again to Colbreth, and he's going to be stopped short. They went to the run for the 7th consecutive time, and now Temple's got a decision to make on 4th and 1. Joe Paterno, one of the all-time greats, without the Penn State jacket on. Just a gorgeous day for football.
They're going to come up a little bit short, but it looks like they're going to go for it on 4th down. A big play early in this football game. It was imperative for Temple's offense to come out and establish something early. They've done that, running the football. Henry Burris has not thrown it yet. 4th down and 1, big play.
It's a long one, almost 2 yards for Temple, so let's see if Burris goes to the air. Just underway, Colbreth going anywhere. Penn State comes up big. Well, they went to the well maybe once too often on the drive, and Penn State stands them up.
Look how low the Penn State defensive linemen are. Aaron Collins comes up, sticks. That's what you have to do in short yardage. It's a game of leverage. You have to get up under your opponent. Penn State did that, control the line of scrimmage. Big play on 4th and 1.
Brian Miller made the stop on Raymond Lee, and now Wally Richardson gets his first shot at it. Temple controlling the ball for the first 4 minutes of the game. Penn State from their own 32. Curtis Enos dancing, and a gain of about 4. Here's a look at our Wheaties starting lineups, brought to you by Crispy's Wheaties and Raisins. The raisin cereal with a big crunch. Penn State, as you can see, with some stars at the skill position, and their offensive line is strong as well. Barry Tilsch, Bill Anderson, Kevin Conlon, Pete Marzik leading the way there. With a fake, rolling left, looking now to go up top, has a man open, and the catch made. Joe Jurevicius beat the defense, and Penn State with a big gain of 44 yards.
Great touch by Wally Richardson, had all day in the pocket. Great play fake when you can run the football. Play fakes really set up. Rolls out of the pocket, has all day. Really throws the ball only one place that his receiver can catch it. Temple secondary just a little bit late.
Number 31, Lamond Adams, just a split second late. Joe Jurevicius, 6'5", 223.
When you talk about a prototype wide receiver, he is it.
Penn State from the 25-yard line after the 44-yard gain. Curtis Enos breaks a tackle, but Temple rushing to the ball defensively stops Enos after a gain of about 4.
Enos bounces off Corey Green, the linebacker. We talked about it in the open. This is a powerful running back.
Temple, Larry Chester, Robert Kelly at the right end. Tim Terry leading the way as far as tackles and sacks, but the big man, Alsherman Singleton, All-American candidate at linebacker. Tom Indio leads the way in the secondary at left corner for Ron Dickerson and the Owls of Temple. 2nd and 7 from the 22 for Penn State. Richardson fakes, looking in the flat. Catch made, tackle made nicely that time as closing on the receiver. Aaron Harris.
Once again, that Penn State offensive line gives Wally Richardson all the time in the pocket. A guy you're going to see a lot today, Aaron Harris, 220 pounds. They have got big running backs, big punishing running backs, and they're going to throw it at them all day long. Interesting thing, they've only thrown 20 balls to their wide receivers all year long.
Penn State likes to throw to their wideouts. So 3rd and 1 now from the 16-yard line. Big tackle. Oh! Nice stop made that time on Curtis Enos by Corey Green, and that might have saved a touchdown.
Looked like a big hole. It closed up in a hurry. Corey Green. Interesting thing about Corey Green last year was a starting fullback. Very seldom do you see a guy switch over late in his career. Obviously a very versatile guy. A lot of speed. If you ask Ron Dickerson, he really loves his toughness. Very tough guy.
Penn State on 1st down. Goes to Davis. Breaks the tackle, and he's in for a touchdown. The Nittany Lions, Aaron Harris. Harris just kept on moving toward the end zone and carried people in for 6.
You know, coming right into your living room, Penn State coming off the ball. Good job, Kevin Conlon, Bill Anderson. You know, you talk about leg drive, powerful running backs. Aaron Harris exemplifies that.
Marcus Counts couldn't stop him. He tried to tackle him high, and Aaron Harris has put Penn State on the board. The extra point try is up, and it's good. Penn State 7, Temple nothing. We're just underway from East Rutherford, New Jersey. We'll be back after these words.
ESPN, the leader in sports broadcasting, presents the Total Sports Video Library, featuring over 80 action-packed titles. including the greatest moments in sports history. Informative how-to videos from renowned experts. And the funniest bloopers ever made. Whatever your sport, ESPN Home Video has got what you need. To order, call 1-800-717-ESPN.
Revolution is a sudden, complete, or radical change.
New spirit. New attitude. And I'm back.
Coleman rocks it home. What a play by Iverson.
It's not just a game.
It's a revolution.
Beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for
Your turn, man.
When you've got the great taste of an ice cold Miller Lite, life is good.
I think she digs you.
Really?
No.
Beyond the sea,
Following an impressive Temple drive early, Penn State responds immediately, goes 68 yards in 6 plays, took them just 3 minutes. Aaron Harris takes it in from 14 yards away, and the Nittany Lions lead it 7-0. Brett Conway had the extra point, and he's going to kick it off right now. And talk about momentum, Jeff Bostic. Temple moved the ball so well in the opening 4 minutes, but got nothing out of it.
Temple very impressive, and Ron Dickerson, this is exactly what he was looking for his team to do early. Offensively come out, have some momentum. Penn State comes right back and answers, though, Mike.
Here's a look at it from the offensive lineman's viewpoint in the back.
Conlon, the left guard, does a great job, and, you know, a lot of this is BYOB. Be your own blocker. Aaron Harris is a very strong running back, built much like Curtis Enos. These guys are very talented in the backfield.
Kevin Conlon, the senior, led the way. He weighs 266 pounds. Penn State with a 7-0 lead. Temple goes from the 20-yard line. Have yet to throw a pass in the game. Eugene Colbert is stopped for a loss.
Chris Snyder.
Number 91. Chris Snyder, the senior, made the tackle. And now Temple is faced with a 2nd and 12.
Somewhat surprising to me that they are not airing the ball out. A team that has basically a 50-50 pass to run ratio. Haven't thrown the ball yet.
They run it 9 times in a row, and somebody's moving off the right side. Number 85 for Temple, Sean Overrocker.
Prior to the snap, ball start on the offense.
These are drive killers, Mike, and this is a football team that doesn't want to be in 2nd and 17, 3rd and long, all day long against the Penn State defense. It's very aggressive, very quick.
In his 4th year at Temple, the Owls are 1-2 this year. Burris back to pass, in trouble, cannot get loose, and the sack by Brandon Noble. The senior was all over Burris. He had no time whatsoever.
Quick move. He beats the center, J.J. Cardona. Quick move by Noble. Gets penetration. Basically, Henry Burris has no chance in the pocket. We mentioned it. Temple in 3rd down and 24 all day long against this Penn State defense.
And Aaron Collins was blitzing from his linebacker position so well to set up the sack. So 3rd and long, 24 yards for Henry Burris and Temple. And they'll go to the draw play to Colbreth, who breaks outside, and the tackle made by Brandon Short, well short of the 1st down, and that will present a 4th and 17 for Temple, trailing 7-0.
It's going to give Penn State good field position.
Dave Nickel back in his own end zone to kick. The sophomore, averaging 37 yards. A punt so far in Temple's first 3 games. No rush. They're going to look for a return. Nichols kick, a low one, fielded at the the 45 by Penn State's Kim Herring. Herring is knocked down at about the 48 of Temple. And that's where Penn State will start their second drive of the game. Kim Herring, a return of 6 on a 40-yard punt from Dave Nickel. We'll be back to East Rutherford, New Jersey. Penn State 7, Temple nothing.
Steve Young here. You know, Crispy Wheaties and Raisins has plump raisins, sweet flakes, and an incredible crunch.
I love the crunch.
Good crunch. Bad aim. Come crunch time, there's only one. Crispy Wheaties and Raisins.
Soon, you'll be able to know immediately if statements like these are true. Mr. Gullible. ESPN News Network, the 24-hour sports news network from ESPN. Who else?
This was my first car, and I wanted my first car to be a stick. I walked into the Saturn dealership. I met my sales consultant. I told her, I don't know how to drive a stick. I grew up in New York City where a lot of people don't even know how to drive. She said, no problem, I'll show you how. You gotta have it just right. Easing up on the clutch, easing down the gas, bam. Off the clutch, you're on the gas. I liked my Saturn so much, I told my mom she should buy one. She did, but she bought the automatic.
Mike Crispino and Jeff Bostic back at Giant Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey. Penn State 7-0. Temple 1-2 on the new season, has improved in a number of categories, as we already mentioned. And we asked Ron Dickerson, their coach, about the defense.
You know as well as I do, being down at Clemson, the one thing that our defenses did was swarm to the football. We're not swarming to the football. And you could eliminate a lot of that long yardage running the ball if you have 11 people flying in the football. And so I've been on our defense and our coaches to get those players hustling in the football.
Jeff Bostic talking with Ron Dickerson yesterday prior to this game, and it looks as if the Temple defense, at least in the first couple of series, were swarming to the ball, although Penn State blocked it very well.
You know what? It's key for them to run down the ball because there's going to be a lot of broke tackles. Curtis Enos has proven in the first 2 games of the season he's a hard guy to bring down.
Coming off strep throat, which kept him out of last week's game. Here's Enos on the pitch, does break a tackle. Right there, and a gain of about 7 yards for Curtis Enos, showing the strength and the power that we talked about at the top of the broadcast.
He is a very powerful running back. It's bad when your safeties and your corners are making the majority of your tackles. Marcus Counts comes up from the secondary and holds on, literally. Obviously, a very talented running back, someone with a plethora of power.
Plethora.
Don't you like that?
You must be a college graduate. You must be. Wally Richardson with an ideal situation, second and third, goes to Enos, shifting and finding an opening and gaining about 6 yards. Marcus Counts had to make the tackle again from strong safety along with Alsherman Singleton.
You know, I would have to think Penn State and their offensive staff are very content running the football, trying to take as much out of this Temple defense. Alsherman Singleton, you're talking about everybody's All-American. He is a sideline to sideline, 6'3", 221, goes all over the field. Last week, 11 tackles.
Those are Enos's particulars right there, and it's 1st and 10 from the 34. They hand to Harris, breaks it outside. This time stopped after a gain of just 1.
Tim Terry, little undersized defensive end, 6'3", 235 senior, political science major. In high school, he was on the National Honor Society, a good student. Someone that Ron Dickerson loves this guy. 12 tackles, 5 unassisted this year. Big pass rusher for him.
Nittany Lions have played at Giant Stadium 11 times, winning 9. They like playing on the turf, obviously. In August, they beat USC here 24-7, and Temple into the backfield of Penn State for the stop. Ben Mayer, the defensive tackle, with the play.
And Larry Chester. You know, they inserted Larry Chester into the starting lineup. You're talking about a big guy, 6'2", 340 pounds. He can block out sunlight. They do a good job stopping the run right there. Big key. These 2 tackles have to be effective, stopping the run inside.
Well, we had one big play on 4th and 1 from deep in Penn State territory. Temple was stopped. Now it's 3rd and 7 for the Nittany Lions. Richardson back with time. Has someone open, and the flag drops. Conway had the receiver, Keith Alsamer, and he could not hold on.
Well, you know, tight ends are basically known for their blocking. Obviously, Alsamer would like to have this opportunity back, trying to run before he caught the football. Wally Richardson underthrew the ball a bit, and Wally Richardson's not off to a quick start. Last year put up some great numbers, 2,700 yards, 18 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Thus far, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Paterno is really concerned with the way he's playing early. He's a good quarterback, though.
Brett Conway will try. It will be a 49-yard attempt. Kick from Conway is up. It's long enough, and it is good. A 49-yard bomb from Brett Conway. He could have kicked it from 60.
Nice light air, light humidity. You talk about a good kicker.
Brett Conway has given Penn State a 10-0 lead over Temple. We'll be back to East Rutherford, New Jersey in a moment.
Here's something I want you to think about. Discus athletic. We're made for whatever you like to do, like biking, football, and for you Europeans, football. 1 gram for every sport. You can't say that about these outfits. My, the unitard, that is special. Unnecessary spending, 20 yards. So, no matter what your game, choose Discus Athletic. One thing to wear. But pick your colors carefully.
Idiots! You have failed me.
Wasn't our fault.
We had a Subaru Outback. Outback?
Got better gas mileage than our Cherokee.
Held a turn tighter than our Blazer.
Brake better than our Explorer.
Silence, fools. Just tell me what you need to catch him.
Our own Outback would be nice.
With a CD player and leather.
Subaru Outback, the world's first sport utility wagon.
John Sanders back in the Big East studio this afternoon. A matchup of top 10 teams in Austin, Texas. It's number 9 Notre Dame, number 6 Texas. The Longhorns on the march early in the ball game. A touchdown pass from James Brown to Mike Adams, a 3-yard strike, and the Longhorns take the lead over the Fighting Irish 7-0. Let's go back to the Meadowlands. Mike and Jeff.
Along with Jeff Bostic, Mike Crispino back here in East Rutherford, New Jersey, where Penn State has a 10-0 lead on a 49-yard field goal from Brett Conway. And you're wondering, well, was that his longest ever? No, it wasn't. He's kicked a 51-yarder before. 6 plays, 2:20 it took. Penn State has a 10-0 lead. So after Temple's initial drive, which was stopped about the 30-yard line of Penn State, the Nittany Lions have come roaring back.
This is a good football team. They're not ranked 5th in the nation by everybody, basically, because they're a bad football. A lot of quickness. Really not a very big football team. Extremely quick football team, though, Mike. Ball fell off the tee.
Conway's kick is going to go in the end zone, so he got away with it. And Henry Burris and Temple will start from the 20. A little smile from Brett Conway. Burris is on top of the Big East in total offense, 250 yards a game. The Temple Owls are certainly happy to have him calling the signals.
4-year starter, has attempted more passes than anybody in Big East history. Big key this year, how many turnovers to takeaways?
Look at the school records, Jeff Bostic. Total offense over 6,000 yards. And there you saw the 950 pass attempts. And he can throw it going either way. Now the fake eludes one rusher. Wants to go up top. Has a man deep. And just overthrew him. Deep in the secondary, Troy Kersey had his man beat by a step. But Burris had to throw on the run and couldn't quite get to him.
Penn State defensive line is getting back in that backfield, forcing him out of the pocket. Number 99, Matt Forndell. Great job pressuring the quarterback. You've got to give your quarterback time to look downfield. Their wide receiving core at Temple is one that can get deep. They've got great speed outside. Kenyatta Carter, Kersey, and obviously Van Johnson, the senior.
Van Johnson and Troy Kersey, number 2 and 3 in the Big East so far. Burris had a man and just overthrew him. Van Johnson had his man beaten, but Burris rolling out just overthrew him.
Well, Nick Gasparotto, the offensive coordinator for Temple, went to Penn State, graduated in '76. He's played for Joe Paterno. He knows what to expect. And they're going to try and use Henry Burris's mobility out of the pocket. Certainly beats sitting in the pocket and having Penn State defenders beat on him all day. They need to convert a first down. Third down, huge play.
3rd and 10 for Henry Burris at the 20. Dropping back, rush on. Looked like a screen setup. Looking for help, can't find any. Burris continues to roll out, and he's going to be sacked. A loss of 5 yards. He had a man.
He had Ramad Lee wide open downfield on the sideline.
Number 32, Ramad Lee, but the pressure was on him from Penn State. Jim Nelson out of the linebacker position.
Jim Nelson blitzing. Looks as if they're trying to set up a screen. Penn State's defensive linemen read that, sit down, cover the back. And obviously this much duress is tough to look downfield, but Ramad Lee was wide open along the sideline.
There's a look at Nelson's numbers out of Waldorf, Maryland, majoring in the administration of justice. And he certainly administered some justice right there to Henry Burris. They nearly blocked it. Back to receive it. Penn State on the run. Chris Campbell with a solid return as the low kick came. 41 yards and an 11-yard return. Dave Nichols' kick returned to near midfield, and they'll place it just inside Temple territory, and that's where Penn State will begin their 3rd drive of the afternoon. They began with a touchdown from Aaron Harris, then the field goal from Brett Conway, and now with 2:08 remaining in the first, they'll try to add to that.
Temple's offense is giving Penn State a very short football field. Last time they started on the 48, this time at midfield. Doesn't bode well for this Temple team.
Oh, Richardson trying to throw outside to Aaron Harris, who wasn't looking.
They had their wide receiver double coverage downfield. I think it was a ball that Richardson was really looking just to throw away. It kind of caught Harris by surprise.
And it was nearly picked off in the vicinity. Keith Karen, who was on the coverage, nearly had a gift.
Nearly had a gift wrapped up for Christmas.
Here's Richardson looking back, going downfield, and at the last moment goes outside, and Keith Karen just couldn't quite get to it.
Penn State offensive line doing a great job protecting their quarterback.
There's Joe Pa, 69 years old. Joe Paterno still loves what he's doing. Who wouldn't with a team like this? Curtis Enos, gain of about 4 yards.
Keith Karen in there on the tackle again. Very active from his linebacker position. Looks like he's got a broken hand. Big cast or something on his hand.
There's Paterno's record. He's won 78% of his games, 31 years, 26 bowls. And the amazing thing is he was an assistant for 16 years prior to taking over for Rip Engel.
What can you say about this guy? 17 bowl victories, the most by any coach in NCAA Division I history. He is the standard which other people are judged by.
Richardson with plenty of time has Enos for a first down inside the 40. Wally Richardson is just standing there and looking for about as long as he'd like.
Good matchup. It was Enos against Al Sherman Singleton. Worked, posted him inside, pushed him inside, came back out. Richardson saw him, hit him with a break. You know, if you're a quarterback and you have this kind of time in the pocket, it's easy to throw the football.
Gain of 9 for Penn State, and they're inside the Temple 40 as we play the final minute of the first quarter. Inside Enos, dodging tacklers, and inside the 30 he goes, close to another first down.
The only thing you see with Enos are shoulders and knees. Tough guy to look at the scars on his helmet. Little scratch. He's been in a war already. Good job by the center, Barry Telsch. Look at the left guard, Conlon. This guy doesn't need big holes. If you give him a seam, he'll find it.
Excel Lucas made the tackle for Temple, and there is Enos's numbers. Close to 5 yards a gain. He pounds it inside. That was a first down, and Penn State starts this series from the 28 of Temple. The tackle made by Larry Chester, the nose tackle. Paterno down through the years has dominated Big East schools. 16-2 against BC. You see the record against Pittsburgh at 20-6. Rutgers has only beaten him once. Syracuse has only beaten him 4 times in Temple.
Mike, who has Joe Paterno not dominated?
Curtis Enos off the pitch, sliding inside, and again a gain close to a first down. He's got time to pick and choose his holes. Robert Kelly made the tackle and it was a shoestring tackle at that.
Could have been a touchdown-saving tackle. Enos was cutting back, big open field, and obviously Robert Kelly, when you talk about shoestring tackles, this is exactly what we're talking about. Hustling down the line of scrimmage. You heard Ron Dickerson talk about his team flying to the football. They've done it so far.
From the Bronx, John F. Kennedy, there he is, making the play. We'll be back. Penn State 10, Temple 1, after 1 from the Meadowlands.
For years, ESPN has been working to improve sports for the fan.
This innovative device gives a new perspective while adding just 26 pounds to a basketball. The Bruins from UCLA toss it around.
Too cumbersome for lively play, the ball cam eventually led to a breakthrough in coverage for all sports, ESPN Net Sports Zone. With Dick Vitale's column, game flow charts, everything you need to be a better fan. ESPN Net Sports Zone, technology for you.
What can Midas do for you today?
My brakes sound funny. Can they fix them?
Midas can do that. They fix more brakes than anyone else in the country.
Yeah, but can they fix my brakes and give me a break?
Midas can do that too.
Announcing the Gimme a Break sale at Midas. Come into any Midas store right now and they'll give you 25% off any brake shoes and or pads. Guaranteed for as long as you own your car. 25% off.
Midas Auto Systems experts. What can we do for you today?
John Sanders back in the Big East studio, and a couple of games are already underway. And coming up at halftime from the studio, we'll get you set for games coming up later on as Johnny Majors and the Pitt Panthers try to get it going, turn their season around. The same thing for the Orangemen of Syracuse, who will play later tonight, trying to avenge a season-opening loss. All of that is coming up at halftime from the Big East studio.
Mike Crispino and Jeff Bostic from Giant Stadium in East Rutherford. Penn State 10, Temple nothing after 1. Penn State has outscored their opponents in the first half 74-0, Jeff. They've been very good in the first quarter. Now, Big Ten versus Big East here in 1995. Let's take a look at the matchups, and it was pretty much all Big Ten, at least 4 of those. Syracuse defeated Minnesota 27-17. There are 5 matchups being played today, including Syracuse and Minnesota. Again, of course, Penn State and Temple right here. Inside the red zone, the Nittany Lions now with a 10-0 lead. Curtis Enos opening, cutting, and inside the 10 on first down. The tackle made by Marcus Counts. Once again, the defensive secondary having to make the stop. It's not...
If you're going to be successful as a running back, we keep calling Kevin Conlon and their center, Barry Telsch. When you knock people off the line of scrimmage, a running back of his quality, he's going to find the hole, he's going to gain yardage. Penn State, big trap inside.
This time, Temple is up to the task on 2nd and 2, and looks like he's going to be short of a first down. Penn State in the red zone this year, Jeff, 11 of 13, 9 touchdowns, 2 field goals. So they have been very good in their 4th year in the Big Ten and off to a 3-0 start. Curtis Enos has run for 55 yards and 11 carries so far.
Big downs for Temple right now. They don't want to go down 17-0. They got a 3rd and short. We talked about Penn State short yardage. Somebody on that defensive line needs to get down, make some penetration, and stop this play.
Ron Dickerson looking on. It's 3rd and 1 from the 7-yard line for Penn State. They go wide. And he drops the ball. It's on the ground, and it's picked up by Penn State, and they may have made a first down. Phil Ostrowski, the guard, Johnny on the spot to pick up the loose ball.
This is something offensive linemen do not like doing, running the football. Enos, a fairly sure-handed guy. Ball bounces out, and he shows the athleticism that an offensive lineman obviously has.
Aaron Patterson on the tackle. Watch what he does. Punches the ball out of there.
Along with Mr. Singleton.
Asherman Singleton, excuse me, was the man who knocked it loose. Phil Ostrowski able to recover it. And it is a first down. So a fortunate bounce of the football has given Penn State a first down close to the 6-yard line.
I would look for Wally Richardson to maybe roll out of the pocket and try and take a little shot in the end zone. And See if he can't put the Nittany Lions up 17-zip.
That was a backbreaker and a good break for Penn State, a bad break for Temple. First and goal from what they're calling the 7. Hand off inside. Harris powering toward the end zone, and they're going to call it a touchdown. Aaron Harris just exploded toward the end zone and would not be stopped.
Good job by the center blocking off. Aaron Harris is going to hand it off to you while you're eating popcorn. Good job, good leg drive. You talk about powerful running back. Look at those shoulders. 225 pounds, toting the mail.
And he carried 2 Temple tacklers into the end zone with him. Epps and Counts, they had him at about the 5-yard line and couldn't slow him down.
Your secondary's making all the tackles, Mike.
Brett Conway for the extra point, and he splits the uprights. Penn State 17, Temple nothing. We're just underway in the second quarter. Aaron Harris has put it in the end zone twice for Joe Paterno's Nittany Lions. We'll be back to Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. More Big East football. Penn State 17, Temple nothing.
Steve Young here. You know, Crispy Wheaties and Raisins has plump raisins, sweet flakes, and an incredible crunch.
I love the crunch.
Linebackers.
Come crunch time, there's only one. Crispy Wheaties and Raisins.
To see the good college football games you can't get on TV where you live, you'd have to do this. There's a better plan. ESPN Game Plan. The games you want sent right to you. Call your cable operator or DirecTV for ESPN Game Plan. See Fridays USA Today for Saturday's Game Plan.
Did you get that stain out?
Yeah, a little club soda came right out.
Yeah, mustard is tough to get out. There it is. It looks good.
Yeah.
Did a great job with that.
That's great.
What do you think?
That's great.
Good?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
Oh, you're welcome, Dan. Hey, oh, by the way, you know where Keith's sitting?
He's right over in the corner.
All right, I got his stuff here, too.
Redshirt freshman Aaron Harris has given Penn State a 17-0 lead. Talking with Joe Paterno right there to cap the 10-play drive. And Paterno talking to us about coaching against his former assistant.
So he's getting closer and closer to where they can be competitive in the Big East, and so I'm happy for him. Dynamics, you're anxious for him to do well because you like him and because he helped your program so much. So I'm pulling for him. Come Saturday, I won't even know he's across the field, and I'm sure he'd feel the same way about me.
Well, Ron Dickerson right now is feeling like he wished Joe Paterno didn't have all those blue chippers standing on the other sideline.
And this is a guy you really like to see do well. You're talking about a guy that has a great rapport with his team. All his players love him, and hopefully he'll turn this program around.
Taken by Danny Davis, and Davis fights his way close to the 20-yard line, a return of 17 yards, and that's where Henry Burris and Temple will try to get a drive going and take some of the edge off Penn State's 17-0 lead.
Good job by their left guard, Kevin Conlon. Powerful running. Look at the leg drop. Drives 2 of the Temple Owls into the end zone, reaches out, crosses that goal line, and touches someone.
First and 10 from the 19 for Temple. Burris hands off, and the gain of about 4 by Franklin McBride, who carries for the first time this afternoon. They went almost exclusively with Eugene Colbreth in the first couple of drives, but now McBride carries. The tailback from Yonkers, New York, went to Roosevelt High there, so playing in front of family and friends, I'm sure, this afternoon. He's a sophomore. 2nd and 7 now for Temple at the 22-yard line. Burris on the handoff again, and McBride slides up near the 25-yard line. Stop made by Gerald Filardi.
Another guy active in there is Brandon Noble. one of the leaders of that defensive line. He's a senior, 20 consecutive starts. The guy that he's their bell cow. He's the guy that they really look forward to. He is their leader on that defensive line, very active inside early in this game.
Well, the total yardage numbers will tell you just about everything you need to know. Penn State rolling them up already. Temple had a great first drive, which ended at the 30 of Penn State on 4th and 1, and since then they haven't been able to move it. Here's Burris, 3rd and 5. It's a man and a first down. Great catch by Troy Kersey, who went up and got it.
This is what I expected the entire game. I'm really surprised at their offensive play selection. They're a team that is about a 50-50 pass-run team. Haven't thrown the ball very often. They've got some weapons. Troy Kersey, it's amazing when you have time in the pocket. A quarterback can throw the ball. Henry Burris had time. It's amazing. Time equals completions.
Another one of those college equations. You're way ahead of me, Jeff Bostic. So Temple has a first down on the pass from Burris to Kersey as they work their way out of their own territory. Burris looks one way, then the other way. Now he's out of the pocket and running. And he gets down before any damage is done. Tackle is made. Brandon Short from his right end position. Also on the chase was Chris Snyder. And Burris with a gain of about 5.
Good pass protection. Obviously a quick hitch, nothing was there. Smart play by Henry Burris. Do not throw the ball in the crowd. We've talked about it. Do not turn the football over. The Temple offense has only committed 4 turnovers this year. If they do that, they stay in games.
2nd and 4. Goes to McBride. McBride goes nowhere. Maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd and 3. Now for an update, let's go back to John Sanders in our Big East studio.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. We'll take you down to Blacksburg, and this is Jim Druckenmiller off to a good start. He will hit Cornelius White in the end zone, a touchdown from the 5, and the Hokies are on the roll, looking for number 13 in a row, leading 14-0. Let's take you back to the Meadowlands. Mike?
Thanks very much, John. And Druckenmiller looks like he's going to lead Virginia Tech maybe to the top 10 before this year's over.
Big play, 3rd down, the most important play in football. 3rd down, Temple thus far 1 for 4 on 3rd down.
Burris on a rollout. Yes, he had his man faked out, and he's got the first down. He had the entire Penn State defensive front faked out.
Very good ball handling. Everybody thought the running back had it. Surprise. Kim Herring comes up, makes the tackle. Great ball fake. We talked about this guy's mobility. Gets out of the pocket. Creates a lot of things. You can run, throw, and have the mobility of this quarterback. Puts a lot of pressure on defenses.
Credit Raymond Lee for the nice fake inside. He did not get the ball, but he drew tacklers. 7th play of the drive. Temple's 4th first down. Again, the play fake. Burris in trouble, and he's going to be sacked. A late rush coming from Brandon Noble, and a big loss.
This is a coverage sack, Mike. The secondary had the wide receivers covered up. Harris had no one to throw the ball to. Sits back in the pocket all day. No one is open. Winds up eating the football. We talk about turnovers. Brandon Noble has been all over the football field early in this game.
From Virginia Beach, Virginia, 6'2", 260.
Nice haircut, huh?
Brandon Noble. Didn't she used to have one of those? No, I guess not. Oh, the draw and a big gainer for McBride, still on his feet. Inside the 40-yard line, Franklin McBride, the sophomore from Yonkers, a gain of 24 yards.
Picked up a good block from his fullback, Ramad Lee. Downfield, great call. You saw talking a little shiftiness. Look at this move. If I do that, my legs will break.
His almost bowed. On the turf, he can make moves like that. Brian Miller, the senior cornerback, made the stop, so McBride has shot a little energy into this Temple offense. Ron Dickerson's team trailing by 17-0, but moving the ball. Burris hands off. Colbreth, short gain. Inside, and the stop made That time again by Brandon Noble, and you might have noticed we've been using his name an awful lot this afternoon.
This guy's awful active. He is all over the field, running sideline to sideline. Good football player, a guy that this Penn State defense looks up to.
You know that Joe Paterno likes to have senior leadership, and he does, certainly on his defensive side. But interestingly, he's playing about 13 freshmen, which is almost unheard of for Penn State.
This is a team that can really be hurt next year by senior graduation. 18 of their 22 starters on offensive defense are seniors.
Burris connects. Van Johnson, the senior, his 15th catch of the year. It's good for 17 yards and another Temple first down.
He beat Mark Tate. Great job of pass protection once again. Something that was a problem early. Van Johnson, the senior, makes the play. Got 2 touchdowns so far this season. Temple on a drive.
Van Johnson out of Washington, D.C. The business management, his major, and an impressive throw from Henry Burris off balance, but he had to have it there in time. So 1st and 10 at the 20. Burris throws on, picked off, and this could go all the way back. Brian Miller inside Temple territory near the 42-yard line. Burris was looking on a slant pattern. Ramon Lee had to make the tackle, and a return of 48 yards for Brian Miller.
It looked as if there was some confusion by the wide receiver. He didn't expect the ball to be coming to him. I think Brian Miller is as excited and as shocked as anybody.
Kareem Gilliard was the intended receiver, we think. Brian Miller, the senior, brought it back 48 yards, and it will be Penn State's ball, holding to a 17-0 lead at Giants Stadium in East Rutherford.
Imagine a 24-hour network dedicated to bringing you nothing but news about sports. The best highlights, latest information, and instant updates, all right now as it's happening. What would you call this network?
The most amazing, incredible, beautiful, wonderful network ever created by mortal man.
Well, not quite. ESPN News Network, the 24-hour sports news network from ESPN. Who else?
You look like a smart shopper. Do you know now's the time to work a great deal on a Buick?
Oh, yeah, that's what they always say.
Really? Up to $3,000 cash off all remaining 96 Buicks. Think of it. $3,000 cash off Riviera, $1,000 cash off Regal, Century, 1,500 big ones.
You know, that Skylark is more my style.
Then take $1,000 cash off after your best deal.
Oh, this whole thing sounds like a good deal.
Hurry into your nearest quality Buick dealer right now.
Back in the Big East studio, we have another Big Ten Big East matchup going on in Columbus, Ohio. And for the Buckeyes of Ohio State, keep your eye on Pepe Pearson. He will break this one 16 yards. Inside the 10, the 5, finally diving into the end zone. He has just scored a second time. And Ohio State right now ahead of Pitt 14-0. Let's go back to Giant Stadium. Mike?
Thanks very much, John. And Penn State leads here 17-0, but Temple just held the ball for close to 6 minutes, moved to 61 yards. Jeff Bostic, 11 plays, and comes up with nothing.
And something they've been very good at is not turning the ball over. That's only their 5th turnover this season.
Reverse. The reverse is coming. Juravicius has a couple men to beat, and he cannot do it. Good tackle made on the outside. Keith Karen able to close it down, along with number 23, Aaron Patterson, who made the stop.
Joe Paterno's going up his sleeve and pulling out some trick plays. Juravicius, what an athlete. 6'5", 223. Great open field tackle.
Wally Richardson, the quarterback, tried to throw a block. A gain of 6 for Penn State, and it'll be 2nd and 4 from the Temple 36. Off inside for a short gain of about 3 that time. The stop made by Talang Lloyd of Temple. The ball carried by Cordell Mitchell, who's in at tailback for Penn State, seeing his first action this afternoon. 17-0, Penn State leading. They've had a couple of touchdown runs from Aaron Harris, and they've been very good on 3rd down. 3rd and 4. Pitt, and this time Temple is equal to the task. Looks like they have stopped Penn State short of a first down. The play made that time by number 8, Marcus Counts, who's been all over the place for Temple.
Been all over the place. Penn State obviously using a lot of their personnel. Big stop by Corey Green also, the converted fullback. 4th down and 1. Penn State looks like they're going to go for it.
Penn State will go for it from the Temple 33. They need about a yard and a half on 4th down. Richardson's handoff. This is loose, and he's going to go all the way. Curtis Enos on 4th and 1 breaks it for a touchdown. 33 yards.
Some of your biggest runs come on short yardage. Everybody is condensed right up at the line of scrimmage. Offensive line, once again, Ostrowski leading the way. Once you get past that first wave of defenders, it's an open field.
Well, he's been in the end zone here just a month ago against USC, and he finds it again from 33 yards out. Marcus Counts had the best shot at him, but Curtis Enos just brushed him off and went all the way.
I guess now we know why Penn State's ranked 5th in the country.
Brett Conway for the extra point. The kick is up, and it's perfect. Penn State 24, Temple nothing. We'll be back. More Big East football coming up in a moment.
Steve Young here. You know, Crispy Wheaties and Raisins has plump raisins, sweet flakes, and an incredible crunch.
I love the crunch.
Good crunch. Bad aim. Come crunch time, there's only one. Crispy Wheaties and Raisins.
Soon, you'll be able to know immediately if statements like these are true. Mr. Gullible. ESPN News Network, the 24-hour sports news network from ESPN. Who else?
Boston Market, the place that made hot hand-carved Boston Carver sandwiches famous, proudly announces the new $4 chicken carver combo. A chicken carver, side, and regular soft drink for $4. Hurry in for a chicken carver piled high with real cheese on a bakery roll, plus a freshly prepared individual side and a regular soft drink for just $4. The $4 chicken carver combo, only at Boston Market. Carving out a better sandwich.
Mike Crispino, Jeff Bostic in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Penn State leading 24-0. Curtis Enos explaining how he went 33 yards on 4th and 1. It was not that difficult.
Let's bring back the days of glory. Washington Redskins ran this play forever. 60 counter tray. It worked for us. It's working for Penn State. Curtis Enos shows some breakaway speed for a big man. Some of your bigger runs, though, Mike, come on short yardage. Everybody's right up at the line of scrimmage. Once you get past that first wave of defenders, it's an open field.
Sophomore tailback Curtis Enos from Union City scored four touchdowns last year. Gained on an average of 5+ yards for Joe Paterno, and kind of broke the must-sit tradition at Penn State. Appeared in every game in 1995, and so far this afternoon, 13 carries, 89 yards. And I know you recall what he did against USC here last month, 241 yards.
He had a monster game against Southern Cal, and at the time, Southern Cal was a team that was ranked higher than Penn State.
Well, that has changed since then. The long kick is taken in the end zone, and Danny Davis will not return it. He had some help on the decision from Kenyatta Carter, and Temple will start at the 20-yard line. So 2 good drives by Temple have come to nothing, and that has hurt Henry Burris and company. He's only thrown the ball 4 times so far this afternoon.
That is shocking to me. Steve Goldman, their assistant head coach, quarterback coach, spent a lot of time in the CFL coaching at Toronto, Ottawa. He's been everywhere. Edmonton. He is a pass-oriented coach. Surprising they've only thrown the ball 4 times.
Well, Temple apparently trying to keep it away from Penn State. Did it effectively at times, but Penn State's had it 4 times and scored 4 times. Back to the ground they go, and there's a loose helmet on the play. Number 74 for Penn State. Or number 44, I should say, is looking to snap it back on. Jim Nelson It's got to be an odd feeling. You got to feel naked out there without a helmet.
You don't do anything between those white lines without your helmet. You don't even think about going out there without your helmet.
Penn State, a late call defensively. Temple tried to get a play off, and now Henry Burris is appealing to the officials, saying, why? Why can't we snap it? Well, Nelson's equipment problem is the problem.
A timeout was called and granted prior to the ball being snapped. Timeout, Penn State.
So a timeout was taken by Penn State, and Temple was unable to get the play off. Temple Owls, this is their home game. They're dressed in their scarlet jerseys, and as we mentioned, the new logo of the Temple Owls. Ron Dickerson talking with Henry Burris. And in his 4th year as coach at Temple, we have a timeout on the field, and we're going to take it. We'll be back to East Rutherford, New Jersey. More Big East football. Penn State 24-0.
You love Jock Jams Volume 1. Now, ESPN and Tommy Boy Music give you Jock Jams Volume 2. Jock Jams Volume 2. More of the hottest crowd-pumping jams of all time. Jock Jams Volume 2. Available in record stores everywhere.
This is how we do it.
It's just a natural fact of life. As we get older, some of our parts don't work as well. Fortunately, with older cars, you can get those parts replaced at Meineke.
Well, we take good care of every car, young or old. Mufflers, brakes, CV joints, shocks, and struts. High-quality parts and service at a reasonable price.
Meineke keeps cars of all ages running like new. Too bad they can't do anything about this 1949 classic.
At Meineke, you're not going to pay a lot, but you'll get a lot.
I guarantee it.
See, Bob, was that your daughter on hard copy last night?
Hey, Bob, did ever find your gold card?
Hey, Bob, I hear your neighbor's suing you.
Bob, your computer crashed.
Hey, Bob, what about your root canal? Bummer.
Woo! Looks like you stepped in something, Chief.
Life gotten a little crazy? Try the simple sanity of an Accord sedan. From Honda.
Back at East Rutherford, Penn State 24-0 over Temple. Discus Athletics salutes the superior performances of these student athletes both on and off the field. Discus Athletic is proud to be associated with the outstanding versatility that makes these players unique. Eric Johnson being saluted. Pete Marzak of Penn State, grad student, GPA over 3, 3-time academic, all Big Ten. So he's paying attention to the books and the field as well. Temple will go 2nd and 7 from their 23-yard line. Burris drops, steps up, throws, has a man, caught, and still with it on his feet. Up to the 40-yard line that time. The catch made by Troy Kersey. Good for 17 yards. And the stop made by number 44, Jim Nelson.
Their wide receiver's very talented. Kersey, a guy that just makes plays. Big average per catch. 12 catches this year, 257 yards. Good protection once again by that offensive line.
Kersey's gone for 1 touchdown. Van Johnson has 2 from the wide receiver position. Colbreth inside, a gain of about 3. Stop made by number 91, Chris Schneider. Don't forget, at halftime, stay with us. We'll go back to the studio. John Saunders for highlights of Rutgers, Virginia Tech, Pittsburgh, and Ohio State, and the Big East report. So stay right where you are. At halftime, John will commandeer things from the studio. Temple 2nd and 8 at the 42-yard line. Burris drops, has to avoid a rush, throws, and luckily threw it a little too high for his receiver.
A little bit of a line stunt in there, a little what we used to call a TE, a little trick in there. Temple didn't pick it up very well. Henry Burris did. Didn't have time to throw the ball, got rid of it. We're back on 3rd down, the most important down in football. This is where you win and lose football games.
Chris Schneider, the senior defensive end, on the pressure again. Actually a junior eligible. Chesapeake, Virginia's had a great first half. Coming again from the right side. Burris steps up, has his receiver, close to a first down, and let's see where the officials mark it. Ron Dickerson is saying that he thought his man was in bounds. Let's take a look.
The guys in the striped shirts never make errors, Mike.
Well, they could have argued pushed, but the punt on 4th and 8 from the 42-yard line.
Looks like Penn State's coming after this punt.
One man deep, Chris Campbell for Penn State.
Here
they are trying to block the punt of Dave Nickel. Taken by Campbell, and a nice tackle made in the open field that time by Aaron Patterson. A 38-yard punt and an 8-yard return for Penn State, and they will start inside their 30-yard line. Well, we know about Curtis Enos and his big day against USC. He's off and running again. Here's Joe Paterno on his potential.
I think he's got a lot of potential. I think that's obvious. He's a big, strong kid with a lot of speed, and he loves to play, plays every play. People don't realize what a good receiver he is and what a great blocker he is. He's not one of those guys that goes out there and just wants to carry the football. Well, he has to block, and he does a good job for our fullbacks when they're running the football. And I think that goes back and forth, and they appreciate what he does, so they block a little harder for him.
Wally Richardson goes up top, wants it all, Juravicious, and he throws it out of bounds. He was covered nicely that time by Temple's XL Lucas.
I think if you ask Joe Paterno, you know, what makes a good coach, he would probably tell you good players. He has been blessed with a wealth of players during his coaching career at Penn State. I mean, he has filled up the NFL with players. And obviously, a lot of these kids we're seeing this afternoon, they're going to be there someday. I really like this Juravicious. Big receiver, prototype receiver for the next level up. 6'5", 223 pounds. Big receiver.
2nd and 10 for Penn State at the 27-yard line. And on inside, huge hole, and close to a first down. Shaffy Fields, the sophomore, stopped by Marcus Townsend, XL Lucas. A gain of 12.
It's not good when your safeties are the ones making the tackle. Big explosion up the middle of the field. Goes 10 yards without getting touched. Chris Alston, big fill right there. The defensive line for Temple seems to be getting a little bit tired.
Richardson comes it over the middle. Sharp throw, good catch, Cusho Brown. Beat Marcus Counts for a first down.
Cuncho Brown is from my area in the country. He is from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, went to Parkland High School. 2-time All-American in high school. Big tight end, big target.
6'4", 258, sophomore tight end. The handoff goes again to Shaffy Fields. The gain of about 5. The stop made that time by Corey Green from the linebacker position of Temple, and a good tackle made.
You look at that Temple defense. You're starting to see a lot of hands on the hips. That means that fatigue is starting to set in.
So you were a student of body language as well at Clemson, is that what you're saying?
Well, when I was playing, my hands spent a lot of times on my hip also.
14 years in the NFL. How did he survive? Somehow he did. Aaron Harris had a nice stop made that time by number 94, Ashelman Singleton. And you talked about him at the top of the broadcast early in the game as being a potential professional. And I know a lot of scouts have looked at him.
There are a lot of scouts that are here today. George Young of the New York Giants, Charlie Casserly of the Washington Redskins, just a few of the general managers here to look at this game. I would expect that Singleton will be a late first round, maybe an early second round pick next year in the draft.
He's from nearby Irvington, New Jersey. Throw out the flat, not nearly far enough for Joe Nastasi. That's the first time that Richardson's thrown in his directions this afternoon. in the face of the quarterback, Jason Davis there. Don't forget at halftime, John Sanders back in the studio for highlights of Rutgers, Virginia Tech, Pittsburgh, Ohio State. It's a Big East, Big Ten weekend. And of course, we'll have the Big East report. Penn State for their first punt. Daryl Kania, averaging close to 39 yards, will hit it. And back to receive it, Excel Lucas at about his 10-yard line. It's a high kick spiraling toward the goal line, and it will kick into the end zone for the touchback. And Temple will start at their own 20-yard line. They've got a minute 18 to make something happen here in the remainder of the first half. Temple 1-2 to begin the season, but as you compare the numbers, Jeff, they have improved. Total offense, they're allowing a little less yardage as far as their defense and their margin of defeat. They've played 3 4-point games so far this year.
Well, the thing about it, Mike, look at their scoring average, 26 points per game on offense. They have not faced a Penn State defense. How dominant is Penn State's defense? They've almost finished 14 quarters of play. They've given up 14 points.
That time Burris's throw was high and wide. And he'll have 2nd and 10 from his 20-yard line. It'll be interesting to see what Ron Dickerson tries to do in the final minute 13. Will he play it safe? Here's what Temple has had to work with field position-wise. Their best, the 35, the worst, the 19, right where they are.
It's tough to drive the ball 80 yards against a defense like Penn State's. Easier, got a screen play.
Here's the screen. It's smelled out beautifully that time. Eugene Cobreth made the catch, but he was going nowhere. The tackle made by Brandon Short will leave a 3rd and 11. Final minute of the first half. Burris dropping, has to get loose. He'll be sacked near the goal line. What a play by Chris Snyder. What strength. Burris is down and in some pain.
He looked like he may have got his knee caught underneath that pile, and he's slow getting up. Chris Snyder did a great job rushing the passer. Obviously in a lot of pain.
Had to be helped off the field. Here's another look.
In the pocket. His protection breaks down. Obviously he's got a left knee brace on. I don't know if he hurt his knee, shoulder. He is slow walking off the field.
This is a case of just go down when they've got you, Jeff, because he tried to make something out of this, and he had nowhere to go.
He had absolutely nowhere to go, and you know, look at the strength. Look at the hand strength of Chris Snyder. Just grabs him, keeps him in place.
In the words of Kenny Rogers, you got to know when to fold him.
Got to know when to fold him. This Penn State defense, if you've not seen them, they are very impressive. 14 quarters of football, only allowed 14 points.
So Temple will have to kick, and with not much room to work with, Dave Nickel at the end of his end zone will be kicking it to Chris Campbell, who is inside Temple territory.
Penn State still has time to put some more points on the board.
No doubt. 24-0. The Nittany Lions with the lead. Nowhere to go for Dave Nickel, so they'll need a good snap. Brandon Palmer, Jason Alasaukis will be the snapper for Temple, and he'll need a good one.
Penn State's going to set up for the return.
Nickel, plenty of time to kick it. Good kick up near midfield, near the sideline. Catch made right down the right sideline. Snyder with a good return. Chris Campbell, rather, with the return. A 48-yard punt by Dave Nickel and a 16-yard return. The tackle made by Rimad Lee. And Penn State does have time to make something happen, beginning at the 36-yard line of Temple and 29 seconds remaining in the first half.
Look for Penn State to try and throw the ball to the sideline, protect their timeouts. Got an excellent field goal kicker.
Brett Conway's already kicked a 49-yarder this afternoon. They've outgained Temple 2-1 so far in the first half. Richardson back, pressure on, throws in the flat, complete for a gain of about 5 yards. Keith Alsummer, the tight end, who is limping back to the huddle, and he took a hit on the ankle and is in some pain.
Makes up for the drop that he had earlier in the game. Plenty of time in that pocket. If you give a quarterback time, he's going to find a receiver. He almost dropped that one. A little bobbling there.
Penn State, 2nd and 4 from the Temple 30. Imperative that Temple stop the Nittany Lions without any further damage. They trail 24-0. Ball fake. Richardson time. Finds a man. Inside the 20, the 10, and down near the 2-yard line. Chris Eberle, the junior tailback, got a great block that time from Aaron Harris that sprung him for a big gain.
That was a big hit by Corey Green.
Chris Eberle from Beverly, New Jersey, nearly took it in for 6.
We talk about protection. Wally Richardson has all day.
Great vision by Richardson.
Can't give a running back that type of open field. Look at this hit by Corey Green.
Penn State, 13 seconds left in the half. The fake by Richardson. Oh, wide open. An easy touchdown. Puncho Brown. The entire Temple defense went left. Puncho Brown was sitting wide open.
We talked about it. Penn State had time, took advantage of it. Wally Richardson, the senior, just as you would expect, drives his team downfield, hits Brown with a touchdown. Penn State looking to go up 31-0.
That is killer instinct. With 39 seconds to go, they took it off the punt right into the end zone. Brett Conway to cap it with an extra point. Out of the hole. And it's good. Penn State 31, Temple nothing. And Penn State struck like lightning the final 30 seconds. Temple's Owls back on their heels as the Nittany Lions ranked 5th in the country. An impressive first half.
It'll be interesting to see how Temple reacts to a 31-0 deficit. You know, Ron Dickerson's talking about his team playing hard, going to the football. Obviously, they're down big right now. Have to regroup and come back out at the start of the second half.
Well, the Lambert Trophy winners since 1991, supremacy in the East. The last winner, other than a Big East school or Penn State, was Dartmouth back in 1970. So Penn State, despite the fact they are now members of the Big Ten, would love to remain the best team in the East. Henry Burris went to the sideline after getting sacked near his own goal line, is being attended to, and looks like he will be able to come back and play the second half. We'll try to get an update on his status for you. And whatever wind there is here in the Meadowlands is giving some fits to Brett Conway. Here's Burris. And his left elbow apparently got jammed on the sack, which helped set up Penn State's 4th touchdown of the afternoon. Conway's kick is low and skips. Picked in about the 15 by Temple. Up across the 30 that time, Danny Davis. A 17-yard return of Conway's kick. The tackle made by Clint Cios, a linebacker for Joe Paterno. And we will have, for the final snap of the half, a change at quarterback for Temple, Pat Bonner. Bonner's a 6'1" sophomore. And with 1 second remaining, they will take a snap and go to the locker room and try to regroup. Temple down 31-0. He'll go to one knee, and that'll do it. The first half, all Nittany Lions, ranked number 5 in the country. They've shown why. Penn State 31. Welcome back to East Rutherford, New Jersey, where Penn State's Nittany Lions, ranked 5th in the country, leads Temple 31-0 at halftime. They've now outscored their first 4 opponents 95-0 in the first half. Jeff Bostic.
They've been dominant. Aaron Harris, Two powerful touchdown runs early in the game. You know, you think you see it once, why don't we see it again? Aaron Harris dragging people to the goal line for another score. We talked about this guy early, talked about him often. Curtis Enos, 33-yard touchdown scamper. 89 yards on the half for Mr. Enos.
That was on 4th and 1, and this was a real backbreaker, last seconds of the first half.
Richardson to Brown, giving Penn State a 31-0 lead.
Now let's take a look at our Discover Card halftime statistics. Some interesting numbers, 246 to 85 in yardage, but how about time of possession? Temple had the ball for 16 minutes.
And who would have ever thought Penn State would throw the ball more than Temple the first half? Obviously, with 31 points down, Temple's going to have to put the football up. See if Mr. Harris comes back into the ball game. He has a sprained left elbow, was to be examined at the half. We'll see what happens.
Henry Burris was injured on a sack near his goal line late in the first half. Did not take the final snap of the first half and went to the locker room for some medical attention. Burris in the first half was 4 of 10. Wally Richardson was 8 of 12. So Penn State threw the ball more than Temple did. Here's the opening kickoff in the second half, taken by one of the receivers up close, and a fullback-like run from number 81, Neil McNutt. Penn State's drives began at a variety of places, but mostly in Temple territory in the first half.
Scored on every drive except one. Very impressive offensive outing for Penn State. I wouldn't expect to see this starting lineup play very much for several reasons. They're up 31-0. Also playing on AstroTurf.
A 16-yard return by Bob Stevenson. I'm corrected, the tight end. Sets up Penn State with a first down. And Richardson has a wide open receiver up near midfield. It's Keith Alsomner, a senior, 6'4", 245. That's good for 13 yards and a first down.
Pick up right where they left off in the first half. Richardson, plenty of time. We've talked about it all day long. Great block by Enos on the linebacker. All summer, right up at midfield. Penn State moving the ball again.
Well, if there's an area that Joe Paterno would like to work on here in the second half, it would be the passing game, you would think. Curtis Enos, and taken down on a strong tackle that time by number 36 of Temple, Tim Terry, the defensive end, able to upend Enos.
You know, Ron Dickerson will find out a lot about his football team the second half. Down 31-0. How are they going to compete against a good football team? Is there any quit in this football team? Something that will be answered in the next 20 minutes.
On the season, Tim Terry, one of the prolific tacklers. He's out of Hempstead, New York, where the New York Jets train, across from Hofstra University. Jets will be here tomorrow afternoon against their arch rivals, the Giants, of course.
That should be an interesting game, huh?
Yes, I guess you're right. Long pass off the hands of Juravicius as he went up with his left hand, couldn't haul it down. Lamont Adams on the coverage. Yes, the Jets and Giants play tomorrow. They're 0-6 combined, so enough said about that. Let's take a look at what happened here. Wally Richardson might have led him just a smidge.
Threw it right on his fingertips. Big hit by Adams right there. Breaks it up. Is this a late hit? Is this a late hit? A little close. It's amazing the referees don't flag. You know, the officials are always protecting the quarterback. You know, these guys play football in practice. They wear green and red and purple jerseys, and let them play.
Strong arm of Richardson, and that's the flag. That time, Marcus Counts was caught for what looks like interference. Just the third penalty of the afternoon, so it's been a well-played game, the opening 30 minutes.
Mr. Counts kind of got his hand caught in the cookie jar. Ron Dickerson cannot believe what he just saw. Coming with a blitz. If you don't get there blitzing, your secondary is man on man. Yeah, he got his hand caught in the cookie jar. He realizes, look at him, he's going, I didn't interfere.
On the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty and a first down.
I think Ron Dickerson was saying, so what? I mean, he couldn't have caught the ball anyway, but that was the call, and Penn State has it again in Temple territory at the 35-yard line. Temple ran the ball fairly well for 82 yards in the first half, but they also ran it 24 times, so an average of under 2 yards a carry. Here's Harris. He's got 2 touchdowns already, and Temple all over him. A gang of tacklers led by number 51, among others, Takara Burgess. And also number 96, Talang Lloyd.
And Ron Dickerson was talking about his football team flying to the football, gang tackling. You know, they're still in this football game. They're still hustling. Their enthusiasm to play is still there. Ron Dickerson fired up on that sideline.
Well, this is a challenge for any coach. You go to the locker room down 31-0 against a nationally ranked team. How do you play the second half? Do you hang in physically?
And what do you tell your team? You know, we're going to continue to do what we've done.
Well, I don't know if you can tell them that.
We're going to try and improve on our first half performance.
All right, Coach Bostic now with some words of wisdom here on locker room conversations, and I'm sure over the course of your career you've heard a few.
If you've played football at any level, at some point you've been behind in a game like this, and you're playing for pride. You're playing to represent your university in this case. You know, these kids are out here. They've got a lot of families and friends. A lot of these kids on both teams from right here in the New York, New Jersey area, they want to play well in front of their family.
And the scouts who we mentioned earlier on hand. Dick Haley, the player personnel honcho with the Jets, was up in the media area. That pass hit the carpet first, and Temple on 3rd and 9 has apparently stopped Penn State, so they're fired up.
Tim Terry got great pressure on the quarterback. One of the few times that Richardson has been hit in this game. Gets around the corner, almost a catch, hits the ground. Good call by the officials.
He got rid of it quickly, but he still took a heavy hit from Tim Terry.
4 sacks last year. Brett Conway going to attempt a 52-yard field goal.
His longest of his career is 51 yards. It's up. It's long enough. And it's good. Brett Conway has set a career high. A 52-yard field goal. Penn State 34. Temple nothing.
Field goal would have been good by 60 yards, Mike. What a great kick.
He's had 2 long ones already this afternoon, and the Nittany Lions shutting out the Temple Owls. We'll be back to East Rutherford after these words.
Steve Young here. You know, Crispy Wheaties and Raisins has plump raisins, sweet flakes, and an incredible crunch.
I love the crunch.
Good crunch. Bad aim. Come crunch time, there's only one. Crispy Wheaties and Raisins.
So you want to know what's on my Discover card statement? My dogs. That's called the Kong that bounces every which way.
How many credit cards make a statement like that?
Sends him into a frenzy of dog happiness.
He pays to...
Looking for a stylish wagon at a price you can afford? Don't look at Saturn or Corolla. The Hyundai Elantra has much more for less. Need more power and more room? Leave Corolla and Saturn behind. Elantra has more. The wagon that comes with standard dual airbags costs just $97.99 after $2,000 cash back. That's over $4,400 less than Corolla. And you can get no money down and no payments for 90 days. So be smart and buy smart. Drive home the Elantra wagon for under $10,000. See your Hyundai dealer today.
Mike Crispino and Jeff Bostic here in East Rutherford, New Jersey, where Temple is the home team, and they're trailing 34-0. Ron Dickerson, of course, worked for Joe Paterno in the 80s, and he talked about his relationship with Coach Joe.
There's not enough time to talk about Coach Paterno. He's very well respected in our profession, but to me and my family, we think the world of the gentleman, along with the entire staff. You know, Jerry Sandusky and Franny Ganner. That program was something I'll never forget, but it's a challenge to go against him today.
Well, you know that coaches love to work with this man because, Jeff, they stick around forever and ever, and they never leave college.
You know, this Penn State coaching staff has a combined 121 years of college coaching. They've been to 110 bowl games. That's amazing.
Brett Conway has put on a show here this afternoon. A 49-yard field goal, another kickoff into the end zone, and a 52-yarder, his career best. And don't you think that the scouts on hand are taking a good look at him? That's his 4th touchback of the afternoon, and Temple will start with a different quarterback. Pat Bonner, the sophomore, replaces Henry Burris, the senior record breaker from Plantation, Florida. The sophomore, 6'1", 179, is about to have a baptism under fire.
This is a tough situation for a young quarterback to come into, down 34-0, obviously throwing situations. Maybe not.
Temple hands it off, and they're going nowhere as Pat Bonner plays it safe on his first snap from center. The tackle made by number 47 that time, Gerald Filardi.
If I am the Temple offensive line coach, I am going to try and find a way to block Brandon Noble. This guy was all over the field the first half, stopping the run, pressuring the quarterback. Great effort by the senior in the first half.
He started one of the Owls' 11 games last year, did Pat Bonner. Played against Penn State in the blowout win by the Nittany Lions. He hands off inside and a gain of about 4 before a swarm of white shirts unloads on number 37, Franklin McBride, led by Sean Lee. The hero back made the stop. Talk about tradition and winning. Penn State has certainly had it over the years. And all the great players that have gone to the NFL, the great linebackers that have come out of there, Jeff, many you have seen in the trenches.
Many I've seen, and you look at their linebackers. How about Jack Ham, Shane Conlon, Andre Collins, a guy that's now playing for the Cincinnati Bengals. I had the opportunity to play with in Washington. Lance Mel, and maybe my favorite Penn Stater of all time. How about Matt Millen?
Matt Millen would have appreciated that sack right there by number 43, Brandon Short. Pat Bonner's initial series is a disaster.
You know, everybody is a Monday morning quarterback. Why don't you be a Saturday afternoon quarterback? This is what he is looking at. Sits in the pocket, absolutely no time. Another sack for this Penn State defense.
And a penalty flag added to it. Let's see what it is. It looks like preliminarily a holding call.
Holding on the defense. That's a 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. We have a first down.
Bill Lemonier calling it against Penn State, so just their second penalty, but it's good enough to give Temple and Pat Bonner another opportunity for a first down.
You know, I think both of these teams have played very well coached football. Very few penalties. You know, basically error-free. Penn State, like a machine. No turnovers. Driving it down the field, scoring on every possession except one.
The one turnover by Temple cost them big. They were driving deep in Penn State territory.
There's my man again, Brandon Noble, making yet another tackle. He's all over the football field. Finally using Ramad Lee, powerful running back, probably lives the furthest away of anybody to play in this game. Riverside, California. In high school, his junior year rushed for 2,400 yards. His senior year rushed for 2,580 yards. A big guy, 230 pounds, runs about a 4.5 40.
How many games do they play? 2,500 yards.
Well,
wow.
It's a track meet, basically.
I was going to say, Brandon Noble out of Virginia Beach, Virginia, has led Penn State in tackles so far this afternoon. Now, 2nd and 6 from the 38. Pat Bonner with a fake rolling right, being chased, throwing high and incomplete. Intended for Troy Kersey. On the coverage, number 34, Brian Miller.
Brian Miller's the best cornerback on this team. Many people think an All-American, 2-time Big Ten All-Selection. Talented football player. You know, Ron Dickerson, you have to feel for a guy that, you know, everybody's been on that sideline at some point, whether it be coaching, whether it be playing, getting pasted 34-0, trying to keep the spirit of his team up. Big third down.
3rd and 6 from the 38-yard line for Temple. They've dropped 20 in a row to Penn State. Pat Bonner with an audible now as he took a look at the defense.
Time on the clock. Barely got it off.
Just got it off. Bonner in the flat, has a man, but up to make a tackle, breaking the tackle and going for a first down. Great second effort by Ramad Lee.
We talked about his power earlier. Thus far, 5 touchdowns for the big guy. A junior college transfer. Riverside, California. You talk about some leg drive. We've seen this out of Enos and Harris for Penn State. Do we see a little bit more of Ramad Lee in this second half?
I would say so. Moreno Valley, California Aaron Collins had a chance to stop him short of a first down, but Lee just broke the tackle. He has scored 30 points. That's good for first in the Big East. 7th play of the drive for Temple. McBride for a couple on the first down play from Yonkers. Went to Roosevelt High there. Franklin McBride on first down for a gain of 2. Courtney Brown made the tackle for the Lions. Temple in their 4th year under Ron Dickerson. Suffered last year. They're off to a 1-2 start this year.
You know, I found a comment that Ron made last week after the Bowling Green game. His team went in overconfident. And I'm thinking to myself, a team that has played 4 years and won 5 football games, how do you ever go into a contest overconfident?
I'm not sure I could give you an answer to that. I suppose they figured, looking at their schedule, and we heard a lot of talk about this, that Temple could come into this game at 3-0.
They played very well against Washington State, losing a heartbreaker. Last minute of the game, Washington State scores, beats them 38-34. Obviously, Bowling Green, after talking with Ron Dickerson, it's a game they feel they should have won. Said his team was flat. To quote him, we stunk up the joint.
And they certainly, with the Big East schedule facing them, cannot afford that. A penalty marker goes down, and so does Pat Bonner. Brandon Noble, the senior, tackle with the sack. He had some help from Courtney Brown. And it's a holding call against Temple on 3rd and 4. Let's see what Penn State does. I doubt they'll take the penalty.
You know, but if you're going to good job holding. Don't let him get back to your quarterback.
On the offense, the penalties decline. 4th down.
Penn State will decline it. They'll take the ball on downs, and Ron Dickerson's Temple Owls will have to kick it again here in the 3rd quarter.
You know, if you're an offensive lineman and you're going to hold the defensive lineman, don't let him get to your quarterback. Do a better job of holding. And this is coming from the voice of one that, you know, made a living holding defensive linemen.
You're not going to admit to that, are you?
Oh, yeah, I held a lot of them.
I don't think there is a play run in the NFL where there isn't holding at some point in time. There's the kick. It's high, but it's not going to travel very far. It gets a Temple bounce, and it's going to be down at the 25-yard line by Kobe Barnett. A 29-yard kick by Dave Nickel, and Penn State will start at their 30-yard line, holding a 34-0 lead. We'll be back. More Big East football coming up.
The new Ford Taurus has people talking. Car and Driver noted it's wider, longer, and taller than before. Edward Armand says,
I'm amazed at its size. It's actually bigger than it looks.
Automobile Magazine calls it maybe the best family car ever made. And Maria Stylo adds,
I love it. I've never gotten so many compliments.
the new Ford Taurus. Now with $1,500 cash back, Taurus starts at just $17,045. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Gonna do some gymnastics tours on the weekend.
Carl, I gotta get this thing done.
3 hours yesterday. I'm done.
And I plan on traveling around the country for the first semester.
Bulging disc,
with all
gotta
the
go.
opportunities
Rich would be
in front of me. I want to try and do some motivational speeches.
Yeah, I'd love to hear about that. I really got this thing done. Larry, I'll be right back. If you could just hold Carrie for just 1 second. I gotta go to the bathroom, Gary. Is that okay with you?
No.
Hey, Brett, Chris, guys. Guys.
It's back, and it's even better than before. It's the biggest Ford sales event of the year. Ford's factory-authorized clearance at your Quality Plus Ford dealer. With great clearance prices on Ford Explorer, America's #1 sport utility with switch-on all-wheel drive, the most room in its class, and the highest quality rating. Plus, Explorer now has V8 power for more towing capacity. Save now during Ford's factory-authorized clearance. If you've been waiting to buy, see your Quality Plus Ford dealer and get a clearance price on Ford Explorer.
Along with Jeff Bostic, Mike Crispino here at East Rutherford, New Jersey. Temple, the home team, in the home scarlet jerseys and the white helmets. Penn State traveling from State College, and they have flooded the field with their reserves. Mike McQuarrie, there are his career numbers, and he threw one notable touchdown pass as they handed off on first down. A gain of about 9 yards quickly for Shaffy Fields. McQuarrie was the guy that threw the TD against Rutgers last year, Jeff, which touched off a little controversy. when they scored their 59th point of that game, and Doug Graber, then the coach of Rutgers, accused Joe Paterno of piling it on him.
You know what? If it's 59-52, what does it matter? 52 is bad.
So you're saying that Doug Graber didn't have a...
He didn't have a leg to stand on.
Okay. Joe Paterno had to start backpedaling and explaining himself after that. And it's tough to see Joe Paterno trying to explain anything he does.
You know what? I don't think he has to backpedal to anybody. You talk about a coach that sets the standard. You know, 1995 Newsday survey by all the NCAA Division I coaches. Who runs the best football program in the country? Hands down, Joe Paterno.
There's the all-time record. He's won 70% of his games. Or Penn State, rather, has won 70% of their games. Paterno's mark a little higher than that. And I thought he said something interesting about staying on the sidelines. He says, I'm not going to leave because I don't have anything better to do. And Bear Bryant left. And you saw what happened to him. He went downhill quickly. And there's the Bear on top of the all-time winningest coaches at 323. Pop Warner, Lonzo Stagg, and hey, there's that Joe Paterno guy.
You know what? That's a very elite number of football coaches. When you talk about the Alonzo Stagg Bowl, Pop Warner football, I mean, these things are legendary. These coaches have made a huge impact. Nobody's made a bigger impact than Joe Paterno.
Well, I played Pop Warner football. That might have been the crescendo of my career. Here's McQuarrie throwing, and a good throw on target. The catch made, but it's going to be short of a first down by Cunshow Brown, who has a touchdown catch already this afternoon. Keith Karen put the pressure on him, but McQuarrie hung in there.
You know, he shows a little touch there. Nice throw just out of the outstretched arms of Singleton. Brown is going to be a force for this Penn State team. Big tight end, big target, 6'4", 258. Winston-Salem, North Carolina, went to Parkland High School.
Kyle Brady, of course, playing for the New York Jets. One of the great tight ends out of Penn State, and the run for a first down by Shaffy Fields, the tailback. Alsherman Singleton made the stop. Penn State in Temple territory again.
Well, you're finding out about your football team right now, and Penn State obviously dominating the line of scrimmage. You know, Joe Bugle, our offensive line coach for many years with the Washington Redskins, currently with the Oakland Raiders. He would call this portion of the game bludgeoning with a dull instrument.
McQuarrie's throw is deflected and incomplete.
Bludgeoning with a dull instrument.
I thought that's what you said. I wasn't quite sure, but now I'm sure. Well, Temple is the victim this afternoon. Last win against the Big Ten came against Wisconsin in 1990. Of course, this is a weekend that they'll be discussing Big East versus Big Ten, relatively speaking, and the Big Ten will probably win 4 of the 5 matchups, but the best of the Big Ten is matching up with not quite the top division of the Big East this weekend, so I don't know if the results will be all that accurate. Oh, McQuarrie got hit, but he throws it up, and it's going to be incomplete. He took a heavy hit from an onrushing Temple man, Ben Mayer.
You know what, Ben Mayer, you know, Temple picked him up. He transferred from Florida State, native of Pennsylvania. He was a national heavyweight champion in wrestling. Obviously with a good takedown right there.
He certainly had the takedown. Mayer is 6'1", 270 out of Williamsport, Pennsylvania, so I'm sure he's familiar with Penn State football. 3rd and 10 from the 44-yard line. McQuarrie, receiver. There was some bumping in the secondary. Dakara Burgess contact. Lamont Adams was on the coverage of Chris Campbell, and it's an incomplete pass. Penn State on 4th and 10 will set up to punt. We haven't seen this very often this afternoon. It's their first punt. Their second punt. Darrell Kania will kick it, and Excel Lucas is back at his 10-yard line. Kania's kick is way high and into the end zone. Joe Paterno frustrated on the sideline at that. Temple will start at the 20-yard line. trailing 34-0 to Penn State as you look at Giants Stadium here in East Rutherford. The Nittany Lions ranked 5th in the country, rolling 34-0. We'll be back.
Free for small business owners.
Now you can say goodbye to your bookkeeping hassles forever because the makers of Quicken have invented QuickBooks, the #1 selling accounting software that makes it fast and easy to do the things you don't love doing. Like paying bills, writing invoices, figuring out what your customers owe, even tracking inventory and doing payroll. QuickBooks makes it all hassle-free. Call now to get a trial version absolutely free through this special limited-time TV offer.
Hard work will never be enough. If you expect to have money for children, college, and retirement, you'll need to invest. And just like everything else, you'll want to do it well. Find a smart financial consultant that you can talk to, one that can help you plan a strategy and then stick to it. The important thing is to start early. Today would be fine.
Smith Barney. They make money the old-fashioned way. They earn it.
Today's Big East Conference game is a copyrighted telecast of Creative Sports Incorporated. Any use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this broadcast without the express prior written consent of Creative Sports is prohibited. Well, the Nittany Lions have brought some fans from Pennsylvania to New Jersey this afternoon. A stadium that seats 95,000. Must be great theater. State College when Penn State plays at home. On the first down carry, Eugene Colbreth for about 6 yards for Temple. Colbreth ran for 40 in the first half and has added to that somewhat in the second half. But if you look at field position, you can see that Penn State has started close to midfield most of the time, whereas Temple's been back near their 20 throughout the afternoon.
And it's not as if you don't have enough disadvantages playing a Penn State team. Very talented defense. Offense has been very efficient today. Then you give them a short field.
Going wide and room to run. A big gain that time from Colbreth as Penn State got caught inside and a gain of 13 yards.
Well, you're going to see a lot of backups playing defensively now for the Penn State Nittany Lions. You know, obviously Joe Paterno has wrapped this game up, wants to get some of his young kids. Last week, 13 true freshmen, 13 redshirt freshmen played. We talked of it earlier. 18 of his 22 starters are seniors, including both kickers. Graduation will hit this Penn State team hard next year.
And a ball loose on first down. Somebody dropped it. Bonner on the exchange, and Penn State says they've got the ball. So do the officials. Second turnover by Temple.
It's not that unusual when you have a new quarterback come into the game. Typically, he and the center do not work a lot during the week. Henry Burris is your quarterback. Missed exchange, leave it on the ground. Penn State takes advantage.
The fumble recovered by David Fleischhauer. And the exchange and fumble gives Penn State the ball inside the 40-yard line. Now for more about what's going on this afternoon, here's John Saunders in our Big East studio.
Mike, thank you very much. We get this update from the Big East matchup in Blacksburg, and it's Rutgers down by 7, a fourth down play. Quarterback Mike Stevens finds Robert Seeger in the end zone. That ties it up. Scarlet Knights and the Hokies tied at 14-14. Let's get you back now to East Rutherford.
Thanks, John Sanders. Mike Crispino, Jeff Bostic back in East Rutherford, New Jersey, where Penn State is rolling 34-0 over Temple. Temple has lost their quarterback, Henry Burris. And the most recent fumble by Temple, their second turnover, has given Penn State good field position. They are inside the 35 of Temple.
This is one of these games for Penn State. Everybody gets to play. Everybody's going to play. Penn State is going to meet the heart of their schedule later, and I'm sure Paterno is just getting this team really turned into a well-oiled machine.
The pass is complete. And inside the 25-yard line that time. Bob Stevenson, the tight end. The tackle made by Diedrich Epps.
You can change the numbers, you can change the names. Protection is good. Quarterback sits in the pocket all day to throw. It seems every one of these Penn State tight ends, running backs, so powerful. A lot of leg drive.
On the sweep and the cutback. And a substantial gain made that time by number 42, Jeff Nixon. Keith Karen made the stop.
Good piece of running. He looks like a DJ Dozier, same number, number 42. Running north and south, keeping those shoulders low, driving toward the goal line.
Penn State on the move again. They hand it and inside. Nowhere to go that time for Chris Eberle. Stop made by DeCara Burgess.
Brings up another third down, Mike. You know, I'm very impressed with Temple's pride. They're out there playing good football, playing hard against the 5th-ranked team in the country. Obviously, a lot of backups in the lineup right now for Penn State. In the future, that right side for the Penn State offensive line is going to be as big as anybody in the nation. Both guys, 315, 320 pounds.
XL Lucas made the stop. Jeff Nixon ran, and it's another first down for Penn State, which has been 5 of 10 on third downs. Penn State and Temple have played 32 times prior to this afternoon. Series has been dominated most recently by Penn State. They've won 20 in a row, 27 of 28, and they're en route to another one this afternoon. McCreary's handoff, Eberle. Nowhere to go, a short gain of about 3. Tackle made by DeCara Burgess. Question, I guess, in a series like this is, why do the two teams continue to get together? I know there's great tradition, but you see series like this in the Big Ten as well, and other conferences where traditional rivals continue to meet each other, although the programs might not be at quite the same level.
I'm sure Penn State does not mind playing this game. If you were a Temple fan and a Temple player, obviously you haven't beaten them since 1941. That's a long time.
Eberle, a cutback, and now inside the 5-yard line as Penn State threatens to score again.
Lamont Adams coming right into your living room. Another impressive running back. Eberle, I mean, Penn State keeps throwing more running backs at you. All of them do the same thing. Powerful north-south running. Nice tackle in the open field.
Chris Eberle, sophomore from Beverly, New Jersey.
Penn State's 14 for 16 in the red zone this year.
3rd and 2, and the handoff. And a big stop by the Owls defense on number 49, Anthony Cleary.
Looked like a little confusion in the backfield. Fullback, quarterback, seemed like they bumped into each other. It doesn't take much for timing on a football play to get thrown off. Eberle got stuffed in the hole. Temple did a good job up front. Dickerson talks about it. Let's get to the football. They're doing that.
That time Eberle was stuffed, as you mentioned, and that crossed up the entire Penn State play. 4th and 2, they're going to go for it. They're on the 3-yard line. They could make another first down here. And a whistle stops the play as the quarter ends. Come to an end in East Rutherford at Giants Stadium. 5th-ranked Penn State, 34, Temple nothing. We'll be back.
Steve Young here. You know, Crispy Wheaties and Raisins has plump raisins, sweet flakes, and an incredible crunch.
I love the crunch.
Linebackers.
Come crunch time, there's only one. Crispy Wheaties and Raisins.
Soon you'll be able to know immediately if statements like these are true. Mr. Gullible. ESPN News Network, the 24-hour sports news network from ESPN. Who else?
I went to the Saturn retailer and got a used Saturn.
A used Jeep.
A convertible.
Actually, it's a Honda.
A Dodge Caravan.
We were surprised that they had used cars.
Seriously.
They treated me like I was buying a new Saturn. They really do.
They revolutionized the way of buying a car.
They checked out 150 different things.
Most car dealers wouldn't do that. There was no pressure.
The vultures weren't swooping at the Saturn dealer.
They're like real people.
They were pleasant, honest, straightforward,
And fair.
I'm on a first-name basis with them.
I bought my used Saturn from
Rodney.
Ron.
Lou.
Charles.
There was Dave.
He's the first salesman I've ever trusted.
Mike Crispino and Jeff Bostic with you. Creative Sports coverage of the Big East Football Conference, and it's been all Big Ten this afternoon here. Penn State 34, Temple nothing, and the Penn Staters enjoying their time in New Jersey. Their second visit in a month, so they certainly enjoy coming to Giant Stadium.
It's been a stadium that's been very friendly to them. Opening their season against Southern Cal, 24-7 win. Obviously having their way today with Temple.
It's 4th down and 2 from the 3-yard line. The last time on 4th and 1, Curtis Enos went all the way from 33 yards away for a touchdown. Penn State hands off. It's Eberle cutting back into the end zone. Chris Eberle from 3 yards away has given Penn State another 6 points.
The offensive line for Penn State up front, the backups Eric Cole, Gabe Tincher, Kevin Conlon, Chance Bright, huge hole up inside. Eberle, north and south, we talk about it. Get your shoulders down and get in that end zone, and he did.
He showed great vision cutting back. Chris Eberle.
And you look at the first person greeting him when he comes off the field, Curtis Enos.
He's 5'11", 202 pounds, junior tailback, sophomore eligibility, Chris Eberle. And the kick is up and good from Brett Conway, or Travis Forney rather, instead of Brett Conway on the extra point. And Penn State leads Temple 41-0. We'll be back for more from East Rutherford, New Jersey after this.
Last Saturday, my wife Lisa and I went shopping. You know, we're not paying any attention. That's when it hit me. What would happen to our family if Lisa weren't around anymore?
Well, recently I've been trying to get Dave and Lisa to review their life insurance.
We then called Kim. She's our nationwide insurance agent.
Lisa now has the life insurance she needs.
Sometimes I think about what almost happened. But thanks to Kim, I don't worry about what might happen.
Nationwide is on your side.
Fender bender, dings, dents, no problem. Just call the better get Mako guys. Tell them about the quality.
Pre-accident condition. We get you looking and running right.
Just like before, guaranteed. The insurance?
We work closely with your insurance
They're
company.
hassle-free, claim settled. Tell them about the price.
Mako value is better than ever. Get our great Mako Presidential Finish plus 4 hours of body labor. Get it done fast and right for one low price. Now only $349. That's Mako value. Mako, America's smart choice.
Along with Jeff Bostic, this is Mike Crispino with you. Penn State 41, Temple nothing. We're in East Rutherford, New Jersey at Giant Stadium. That's Chris Eberle from Beverly, New Jersey. So the hometown boy doing well as he caps a 10-play, 37-yard drive that took 4 minutes and 21 seconds. 2 times Penn State's been faced with 4th downs that they decided to go on, and 2 times they went for touchdowns in this 41-0 game. Penn State gets into the Big Ten part of their schedule over the next few weeks, and I would have to think that Ohio State and Penn State would be considered co-favorites to win this conference. They both have started out auspiciously. This afternoon, Ohio State University is romping on Pittsburgh in Columbus. They were up 52-0 in the second quarter. On the kickoff return, Juan Gaddy takes it up past the 30-yard line of Temple, a 24-yard return, and the Owls, with Pat Bonner at quarterback, will start their series from there. So Penn State goes to Wisconsin, then a big matchup at Ohio State October 5th, followed by home games with Purdue and Iowa. Then it's off to Indiana, Northwestern at home, at Michigan, and they finish up with Michigan State on the 23rd of November.
It'll be interesting to see how this Penn State defense matches up against bigger, more talented offensive lines. This defense only has 2 players over 250 pounds. And in today's football, that's really unheard of, Mike.
Colbreth with the carry for Temple on first down. Stop made by Penn State, who's starting to flood the field with reserves. Last week, they recorded their first shutout since 1993. You know, it could be that this defense turns out to be one of their best.
It's probably one of their quickest. Not a large team, not very big up front. Do a lot of stunning, a lot of slanting. They do get to the football.
Bonner with a fake on the rollout, looking for a receiver, and overthrows his man. Intended for Troy Kersey up near midfield.
Tough situation for this young kid. Pat Bonner comes into the game. Henry Burris hurt toward the end of the second quarter. Sprained left elbow. Coming into a situation where his team is behind 31 points, knowing that he's going to have to throw the football to get back into this game. Penn State just keeps bringing more and more people at you.
Did appear in 7 of the Owls' 11 games last year and made 1 start. Bonner now on 3rd and 8. Back to pass. Guns it in. It's complete for a first down. Wendell Davis, his first catch of the afternoon.
Bonner sat in the pocket. He got crushed as he released the ball. You could almost see him short-arming this ball. Great pressure by the Penn State defense. Watch the end of this play. Bonner kind of short-arms that ball. Sees a linebacker coming up after him. Gets hit, stays in the pocket, completes the first down.
Bonner for 11 yards to Wendell Davis. Temple trying to move and get something on the board here this afternoon. Fake handoff being chased. Bonner rolling, throwing, upfield. An open man is Troy Kersey. And Kersey, deep into Penn State territory, got open.
Obviously a blown coverage in the Penn State secondary. Kersey was wide open. They've run the ball all day long, so why not play fake?
Good.
Bonner shows the same type of mobility out of the pocket. Kersey wide open. This is one of those balls you do not want to drop it. Your entire team will just have unbelievable times with you on the way back to Temple.
A gain of 30 for Troy Kersey. He's caught 3 balls this afternoon. Heavy pressure again came from Courtney Brown, but he couldn't get to Pat Bonner. The draw to Colbreth and nothing doing. He's hit hard, and a penalty flag comes in late.
Looks like we've got holding in the middle of that line.
The flag arrived late as the ball carrier almost had hit the turf, but that's the call. It'll be holding against Temple.
Disregard the flag. There was no foul on the play.
You know, I wish this would have happened to me during my NFL career. You know, they would throw a flag, they would call you for holding. The only difference between college and pros, in the pros, they tell your number. They single you out. Thankfully for these college kids, they don't give the number. They don't let their parents get embarrassed because, but they never pick the flag up on me.
You're not telling me that you could hear your number being called in an NFL stadium.
Oh yeah, you can hear it.
You can.
You can hear it loud and clear.
I thought you were so focused on the game itself that nothing would interrupt that focus.
You know what, you are so focused, but the thing about it were the times that I didn't get called because I knew I held a lot. And you would look at the umpire and you'd look at the other officials and you'd look for a foul. You'd look for a flag to be, you know, laying behind you, close to you.
Were you one of those guys that kind of started looking the other way if you did commit a foul and hope that they didn't catch you?
You know what I used to do? I'd come to the line of scrimmage. I would find out where that umpire is. If he's on my right-hand side, I can hold with my left hand. If he's on my left side, I can hold with my right hand. When you play long enough, you learn how to hold.
Some tricks of the trade from Jeff Bostic, former Washington Redskins center. I'm not going to tell you what the fingers look like on this man's hands, but they are going in several different directions. A completed pass by Pat Bonner to Danny Davis on 3rd down. Not good enough for a first down, but here's a look.
Danny Davis had a big game for Temple last week. 4 catches, 81 yards, had a 31-yard run. Haven't heard much from him today. Obviously, Penn State stops him short. Temple's going to go for it on 4th and 4.
4th and 4 for Temple. Their deepest penetration into Penn State territory at the 20-yard line. Bonner slips. As he came back from the center, he fell and just floated it nowhere.
Looks like one of his offensive linemen stepped on his foot. Ron Dickerson cannot believe it. Watch his left guard. There he goes. He steps on his foot. Mr. Bonner is basically helpless, falling backwards.
Well, that about sums up Temple's frustrations this afternoon. They trail Penn State 41-0. We'll be back.
Take strokes off your game, guaranteed.
Jack Nicklaus's personal technique that helps straighten slices.
Take strokes off your game, guaranteed.
Dave Peltz's revolutionary technique that has even the pros putting more accurately.
Take strokes off your game, guaranteed.
Get out of sand without sweat. Greg Norman's Earth Mover secret shows you how, guaranteed. Now take 2, 3, 4, even more strokes off your game with the secrets you'll get in your free issue of Golf Magazine.
Take strokes off your game, guaranteed.
Master teacher Jim McClain's simple secret to longer, straighter tee shots every time. Call now to get your free issue of Golf Magazine, plus receive your free Golf Magazine umbrella. Shoot lower, play better, or you don't pay. That's the Golf Magazine guarantee. Call now for your free no-obligation issue of Golf Magazine. If you decide to subscribe, get 11 more issues, 12 in all, for just $16.97. Plus this Golf Magazine umbrella free with your paid subscription. Call now.
Out. It's the one you've been waiting for.
96 Pontiac Closeout.
Every 96 Pontiac has to go to make room for the new 97.
Special low-rate financing.
Bonnevilles with $1,500 cash back. Limited quantities available, so hurry.
800 cash back on Grand Prix sedans.
750 cash back on Grand Ams.
Everything must go.
But when they're gone,
they're gone.
96 Pontiac Closeout. Hurry for best selection.
An absolutely gorgeous day in New Jersey for college football. We're at the Meadowlands, Giants Stadium, and that young man having a little refreshment break. 41-0, Penn State leading. They have home games, 2 of them that wouldn't exactly be considered home games. At Franklin Field, and here today, of course, at Giants Stadium, they do have West Virginia, Miami, and Syracuse, 3 tough opponents in Philadelphia.
If I had that type of schedule, I wouldn't look forward to going home either. But you know, they've got one of the stranger schedules you see, playing at Franklin Field, playing here. Obviously, the road games. Team that's improving, though. Tough day today.
On the big gain, the carry up the middle for Anthony Cleary, the sophomore.
You know, Bill Kenny, the Penn State offensive line coach, has to be pleased with the way his starting offensive line and even his backups. I mean, this is a big key for Penn State next year. You know, the ability to get some of their backup linemen. You know, you look at a guy like John Blick, you look at Chance Bright. These guys, 6'7", 314 pounds, 6'6", 336. These guys are huge.
On the carry, Cleary again for just a couple of yards. Interesting commentary about the Penn State program and how these players translate into pros, Jeff Bostic. And I heard some scouts talking about the fact that they've become so fundamentally sound, they've almost peaked as players, playing for Joe Paterno when they don't get much better when they get to the pros. Do you believe that?
And I think the key, everybody that comes out of Penn State is a solid citizen. He graduates about 80% of his entire football team. Some of the top numbers in the country as far as graduation rate. The guys that I have played with and played against from Penn State, solid citizens. These guys are the salt of the earth. Penn State's program basically stays away from trouble. You never hear any controversy at Penn State.
The carry that time by Cordell Mitchell. Curtis Enos, who had the big day against USC here last month, went for 91 yards, 14 carries, the big 4th down touchdown, which broke it open in the first half of 33 yards. Henry Burris just 4 for 10 left at the end of the first half with an elbow injury and has not returned, so that has hampered Temple's offense.
Really expected Temple to throw the ball more today.
Nearly breaking it, but able to make the stop. Number 51, Dakara Burgess. That time, Cordell Mitchell had one man to beat.
One man to beat. Mr. Burgess in the open field. Great open field tackle. Grabs him around the ankles, drags him to the ground.
Something you don't see enough of is tackles below the waist, wrapping up legs. Penn State on 1st and 10. And they're now going to the ground almost exclusively. Cordell Mitchell with under 9 minutes remaining in the second half. Penalty flag is down.
A little altercation across the field.
Ron Dickerson. His team will drop to 1 and 3.
After the play was dead, we have unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense, unsportsmanlike conduct on the offense. The down remains the same.
Well, they'll do it again. Frustration showing probably on the part of Temple as they trail 41-0. Penn State went to the Big Ten. This is their 4th year now. They've been able to get to the Rose Bowl, get the big payoff. Was most of the reason they went to the Big Ten rather than perhaps moving to the Big East?
Well, I think they did because Paterno has always talked about wanting to play in the big game. And everybody calls the Rose Bowl the granddaddy of them all. And certainly, as soon as they switch over, they go over and play in the Rose Bowl, enjoy success, win a national championship. You know, he has coached 2 national championship teams, has played in 4 national championship games, 5 undefeated teams, 4th winningest coach in NCAA Division I history. How would you like to be a member of the 1988 Penn State football team? The only team with a losing record under Penn State's Joe Paterno.
Well, in 94, they were unbeaten. McCreary is brought down, and a penalty flag went down, a high tackle. Michael Tripp just blew in there from his linebacker position, and a face mask penalty was called. But a great blitz by Tripp.
I think the defensive players...
Personal foul, face mask on the defense, 15 yards from the previous spot, first down.
Anytime the defensive players get up around the quarterback's head, the officials are going to protect these quarterbacks. They sit back in the pocket, they deliver the football. They are helpless in the pocket. I think we should draw a line somewhere. We should be able to at least hit them, huh? Just don't pull their face mask off, though.
A 15-yard penalty gives Penn State the ball in Temple territory at the 38-yard line. So only 5 penalties in the game so far.
Penn State has only been penalized 10 times. We're almost through the 4th game.
Chaffee Fields for a short gain for the Nittany Lions. Well, with the championship game looming on the horizon in 1998, there should be fewer arguments about who's #1 in college football, although there still won't be a playoff system, and I'm sure that the critics will say there should be. What do you think?
I wish they would go to a playoff system. Then we find out definitively who is the best team in the country. What do? Take the top 8 teams and have a bracketed playoff? That's my, ooh, what a hit. XL Lucas, what a hit. I would go to the playoff format simply because I want to find out who's #1. There are so many bowl alliances.
We'll get to that in a moment. Let's take a listen to what just happened on the field. Well, that's why the shoulder pads, a heavy hit that time by Nixon. Penn State 3rd and 3, in trouble. McCreary cannot get out of it. Temple with a sack and a big loss for Penn State. Michael Tripp was in on it, so was Dakara Burgess, and that will present a 4th down for Temple. For Penn State, will have to punt it for the 3rd time. Look at this.
Had nowhere to go. Pressure. They didn't buy the play fake. McQuarrie probably should have just thrown the ball out of bounds, eaten up the yardage, and not taken the sack.
Pat Pigeon will punt this time instead of Darrell Cania. He gets an opportunity. And limping off the field for Temple, Pepe Pichette, the defensive end, looks like he has a foot injury of some kind.
Pepe Pichette.
Now, would that be...
That is a unique name, isn't it?
Would that be French or would that be Italian?
I wonder if he's any relation to Pepe Le Pew.
It could be. Here's the kick, and it's high toward the goal line. Penn State a chance. Oh, they kept it alive, but it hit the goal line. Nearly a great coverage job by the Nittany Lions. But Temple, fortunately, will get it on their 20-yard line. Chuck Penzenick was there. He was able to knock it down, but couldn't keep it inside the field. We'll be back. More from East Rutherford, Big East football from Creative Sports.
There's over 173 different sports in the world. And each has its own special outfit. Running shorts with storm flaps. What's gonna get in there? I don't know. What you need is this. Discus Athletic. Athletic wear made for every sport. One brand for 173 different sports. Discus Athletic. One thing to wear. Well, maybe only 172.
On America's Night of Premieres, a runaway train puts Sully between life and death. The train wreck. Emmy winner Dr. Quinn. The exciting season premiere. Then, can a special angel stop a doctor from hurting a child?
You'll hear the angels.
This child is in serious trouble. Olympia Dukakis in an all-new Touched by an Angel. And back off before someone gets hurt. Chuck Norris returns in the explosive season premiere of Walker, Texas Ranger. All on America's Night of Television. CBS tonight.
Here in Philly, you got Miller Lite? Life is good.
Nice shot.
Eagles, man.
Hey, come on.
One light goes, they all go.
Great fly.
Hey, over here. Hello.
Hey, Ben Franklin.
Man, we're in Philly. You got Miller Lite. Life is good.
That's a good sandwich.
Mike Crispino and Jeff Bostic in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Penn State 41-0 over Temple. Somebody's having some fun in the stands. The Penn State fans, presumably, who traveled from State College. Temple starts on their 20, and if that sounds familiar, as McBride takes it up for a strong 5-yard gain. Temple has started, Jeff, on the 20-yard line 7 of the 11 times they've had the ball this afternoon.
It's tough to move the ball that length of the field. 80 yards. You know, you got to give a lot of credit to the defensive coordinator for Penn State, Jerry Sandusky. 29th year at Penn State. That is unbelievable. And you know there's opportunities for him to have moved on and gone back, but I guess the feeling for a guy like Joe Paterno. You know, Fran Garner, their offensive coordinator, has been at Penn State for 26 years.
Must be the air. And Joe Paterno, of course. Pat Bonner in trouble. Down he goes. Inside the 15-yard line. Bonner faked nobody out, particularly Doug Ostrowski.
Got a little bit of help from Courtney Brown also. Offensive line simply not allowing Mr. Bonner the type of time that it's going to take to throw the ball downfield. Sandusky is having a ball with this defense. Small, undersized, quick. He loves the way they work during practice. He loves the hustle they exhibit during the game. You know, we're almost finished with 16 quarters of football. This team has given up 14 points, only allowing their opponents inside the red area 5 times all year.
3rd and 14 for Temple at their 16-yard line. Bonner in trouble. They call him down at the 2-yard line as Penn State with a bevy of defenders. Clint Cias from his linebacker position, number 35. Among others.
Ahmad Harris is the one that causes the problem. Flushes him out of the middle, runs him right to Cias. Mr. Bonner has been running for his life, much the same as Henry Burris did in the first half.
That is sack number 7 for Penn State. and they're in the process of pitching a shutout. To kick it, Dave Nickel, and this is the second time he's been backed up. Quick snap, kick away. It's a low, wobbly kick on a bounce, taken at the 47. Room to roam for Chuck Penzinik. Finally taken down at the 37-yard line of Temple. A 45-yard punt and 11-yard return for Chuck Penzinik. Penn State will have the ball when we return to Giants Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Nittany Lions 41, Temple nothing.
You've spent your entire life sleeping in an old-fashioned flat bed, but now you have the opportunity to find out about a better, healthier way to relax and sleep. Get this free information kit about Craftmatic adjustable beds. Call toll-free and a helpful operator will mail you a free Craftmatic adjustable bed catalog and this special rebate certificate. It's worth $200 off any Craftmatic Model 1 adjustable bed. Why is Craftmatic making this rebate offer? It's our way of saying thanks for taking the time to find out about Craftmatic. There is, of course, absolutely no obligation for calling toll-free and requesting this helpful information kit. So if you have any interest in adjustable beds, pick up your phone and call now.
Call toll-free 1-800-634-7222. That's 1-800-634-7222. Toll-free 1-800-634-7222.
Boston Market, the place that made hot hand-carved Boston Carver sandwiches famous, proudly announces the new $4 chicken carver combo. A chicken carver, side, and regular soft drink for $4. Hurry in for a chicken carver piled high with real cheese on a bakery roll, plus a freshly prepared individual side and a regular soft drink for just $4. The $4 chicken carver combo, only at Boston Market. Carving out a better sandwich.
Every play, well, Ron Dickerson has a player just like that who made the last play on that punt return.
Alsherman Singleton, and you wonder why the guy is a Butkus Award nominee. You wonder why he is an All-American. 151 tackles last year. The score is 41-0. Disregard that. Look who makes this hit. Covering punts. You know, less than 4 minutes to go in the game. It'd be easy for this guy to go, you know what, I'm taking this one off. I'm going to fold this one up. We're going to get off of here. We're going to get out of town and go back home and regroup. Hustling all over the field.
From Irvington, New Jersey, Alsherman Singleton. Penn State, the third time they started to drive inside the Temple 40-yard line, and that is gang tackling by the Owls. Everybody in on it. 9 players on the pile. And let's see who's underneath for Penn State.
Takara Burgess. Mr. Burgess is in there. He's been very active the second half, making a lot of plays, stopping a lot of Penn State runners. You know what? Temple's going to regroup. Go to Pittsburgh next week. 2 teams that are pretty much having it handed to them this week. Both of them looking to get well next week.
And no stop. And the Temple defense certainly has not given up. They are just pounding Penn State's runners in this last series.
Keith Karen with the tackle there. Still fighting hard. And you know, when you sit down and watch this film tomorrow, as Temple will, they're going to look at how they play in the fourth quarter. You know, what type of effort are they giving in the fourth quarter? Is there any quit in this football team? I'm sure Ron Dickerson and his staff would like to have had this game closer. Penn State's a talented football team.
Across the 30-yard line for a first down, Shaffy Fields.
Shaffy Fields once again brought down by the man that's everywhere. He's everywhere. Takara Burgess. This guy's got a different gear. You know, most people have first, second, third, and fourth gear. He's got fifth. He can hit that last gear.
Good for a first down for Penn State as they threaten to add to their total. Inside. Oh, bouncing off the tackle hard, and there's some heavy hitting going on now.
You can certainly hear those helmets clanging.
Anthony
powerful
Cleary
running inside.
Anthony Cleary ran into a pack of red jerseys and was able to bounce off and make something out of it.
Mr. Cleary looks like he's big enough to play offensive guard. You know, you talk about leg drop. Look at those legs. They look like tree trunks, just bouncing off people.
6'1", 244. It took 3 Temple players to bring him down.
If you're a defensive back, you do not like to see Mr. Cleary coming at you.
This time spinning off a tackle into the secondary, still running inside the 5-yard line. Jeff Nixon. Lightning quick spin move by Jeff Nixon and a gain of 18.
Some nifty running. We talk about Enos. We've talked about Harris. They are so deep at running back. Breaks the tackle, spins. Watch this little hip shake right there. Penn State running the football very efficiently. Temple trying to keep them out of the end zone. Less than a minute to play in this game.
Jeff Nixon, 4 carries, 35 yards. Final minute of the game, Penn State, the second team trying to punch one home against Temple. There's a handoff to the big full, legs churning, but Anthony Cleary will be stopped short of the goal line. Should be interesting to see how Penn State handles this. 41-0, final 30 seconds.
Could very well be the last play of the game.
And it looks like Joe Paterno's going to call off the Dogs here. And we have an injured player down for Temple. Frustration of Ron Dickerson coaching Temple. Can ill afford to lose any of his talented players. That's DeCara Burgess. Coming up next week, the Big East game of the week. Pittsburgh travels to Miami. 12 noon, the Hurricanes back in the thick of things in the national championship picture, ranked number 10. They'll be hosting the Pitt Panthers at noon. Ron Dickerson looking on, and the final 14 seconds, Penn State has the ball inside the 5 of Temple, and we'll see if they run a play or they go to one knee, and that's the way they'll end it. Paterno lets the clock run out and heads across the field to his former assistant, Ron Dickerson, following a 41-0 shutout.
Both men have a lot of respect for one another.
What do you suppose he's saying right now?
Well, Paterno's probably saying, you know, Ron, you got your program going in the right direction. You're a few players away. Hang in there. You know, you're doing the right things as a head coach at Temple. You know, this program went downhill and were rock bottom when Ron took over the job. It didn't go downhill overnight, and it won't be repaired overnight.
He has said that. They've won 5 games and now his 4th year, but Ron Dickerson's teams do play hard. There is more talent than they've had in the past couple of years. They're making some strides, but not today against the 5th-ranked Nittany Lions. It's Penn State 41, Temple nothing. Let's go back to the Big East studio now. John Sanders has more on college football this Saturday. John?
Our thanks to Mike Crispino and also Jeff Bostic for bringing you the coverage. A big Penn State win, 41-0 was the final score there. Penn State rolling over the Temple Owls. We are continuing our coverage of Big East football from the studio. It was also a very long day for the Panthers of the University of Pittsburgh as they played at the Horseshoe in Columbus at Ohio State. And let's take a look at some of those highlights from that ball game. The Shoe